All right, everybody, welcome to the I Disagree podcast. You know, I can honestly say the reason why we've named it I Disagree is because it's two words I believe that have not only changed my life, but we all wouldn't be sitting here if we didn't say I disagree. So here's basically what we stand for. In the past 3 years, there has been more disagreements, controversies, opinions, ideas, failed expectations, character reveals, surprises, disappointments, lies, beliefs, assumptions, and bullshit than ever before. Here we go. You guys ready for the first one?
Hey everybody, welcome to the I Disagree podcast. My name is Dana and I will be your host tonight. Thank you to everyone who is here online. Welcome tonight and thank you just for spending some time on a Tuesday night with us. Please make sure that you are commenting, liking, and subscribing to our channel. We don't run ads on the show because we don't want to tell anybody about a bunch of products that we don't even use, and Doc fully funds the show all on his own, so it would really help us out if all you guys would share the show with everyone you know. If you want to be on the I Disagree podcast, or if there are any topics you want us to discuss on the I Disagree podcast, please email idp@thewellnessway.com and we will get back to you about those. Thank you to our guests who are here in-house tonight. Thank you guys for coming to the table and sitting and having a conversation with us. And thank you, Lorenzo and Travis, for being here as co-hosts once again. All right.
You're welcome.
Yes. We will do introductions right away because I always like everybody to know who everybody's talking to. So we will do name, age, marital status, kids, career, if you have a podcast, if you have a product that you sell, if you have a business, anything that you want to promote, please make sure you do that here. We love when people plug all of their stuff. So I'll go first as our host, and then we'll do our co-hosts, and then we'll do our two guests. So my name is Dana. I am 35. I have two boys who are 6 and 8. I'm married, and I went to school for accounting. I actually was a CPA for 10 years. I worked on taxes, and then I decided that was no longer for me. And given my passion for natural health, I became a clinical nutritionist a few years ago. And through that is really just how I met Doc. And now, because of that, I'm able to help out with the I Disagree podcast. And I also have a social media account called Dana Disagrees, where I pretty much help support the patriarchy and alpha males and masculinity and all those really wonderful things. And I have two kind of pretty viral reels at this point that everybody should go check out on Instagram. One very viral one from a long time ago and one that just started going a few days ago. So make sure you are going and checking that out. I'm also in the process of writing manuals about what it means to be masculine, what it means to be feminine, and just kind of writing like guidebooks for that because it seems like that's needed in culture since no one knows how to act anymore. So look for those coming out soon also. All right. Lorenzo, you gonna get it this time? You gonna go through all the things?
I am.
All right, let's do it.
So I am not Lorenzo today.
Oh,
as you
all
see,
right.
I am dressed looking like Travis, so I am Trevenzo.
All right.
And so as Trevenzo,
Damn,
Actually,
you
you
sexy.
are.
You're looking good
Yeah,
today.
okay, yeah, you
I'm
are.
trying
You
to
are.
look. I'm doing the Travis thing today. Just with the Lorenzo up here and then Travis. So I'm Trevenzo, and so please respect my name, and that is now my
Trevenzo.
pronoun. So don't disrespect my pronoun, which is now Trevenzo.
Trey.
I
Is it
apologize.
Trey Tra?
Trevenzo.
Trey
Trevenzo,
Tra,
I
but
got
the
it.
pronoun Trey Tra.
There you go.
There you
All
go.
right, so thank you. All right, so as Trevenzo, I'm in a poly relationship. I actually have 4 wives, and so I'm doing that whole situation. I have 15 kids. 7 of them, I'm not sure where they are, but they had to
course
grow
you
up,
don't.
right?
Yeah, they
They
did.
got to grow up. They got to figure life out. I don't have to be there for them. You got to figure it out.
Yep.
And then the jobs that I have, what do you need to work for? You got 4 wives. What do you need to work for? That is how Trevenzo rolls. Oh, make sure you guys go to rrpshow@gmail.com. That's the email address, but the show is Random Things You Need to Know on YouTube, BitChute, Rumble, Minds, Gab, all that stuff, Twit, and we, soon I hear we have to do some TikToking and Insta-fucking and all that, and not too happy about that. But
All the things.
yeah, there you go.
Awesome. Travis.
Thank you, Trevenzo. I am Travis. I am currently still Travis. I am 43. That is new. Error. I think we did that once before. My smoking hot wife is here. I am blessed to see her. I wear many hats. I work at the Wellness Way. I love all the hats that I wear, and I'm just blessed to be here. And I have an opportunity to talk and use this as a mouthpiece to speak about things that nobody wants to talk about.
Awesome. Barry, why don't you go next?
First of all, what have I gotten myself into with Trevenzo over here?
You are the perfect one to be here with him
My
tonight.
goodness.
I mean, just based on the lack of Facebook that I've seen. I don't know.
Oh, you don't do Facebook?
He does
I do
Facebook, but he barely
she
has
was-
anything.
She's stalking me today. She's trying to figure out who I am. She's like, this guy.
She's like, there's like nothing there, and I'm like, what the heck?
Good. Awesome.
Barry from De Pere, 57 years old, divorced twice. Older children that are growing and doing things on their own. I have the best job in the world. I'm a firefighter. Very proud of doing that. Love helping people. I've served my country in the military. I'm also very proud of that. I am here because I got to know Dana over something, and we started talking, and she said, "You sound like you have opinions." I said, "I have all kinds of opinions, so that's why I'm here."
Awesome.
How did you meet?
You saw one of my posts, right?
I saw one of your posts, and we were
Yeah.
kind of talking back and forth, and then you kind of said,
And I was like, yeah, you'd be perfect for this.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should do it. I'm
'Cause-
like, okay, good. What's
Yeah.
your information? Good. And then
Yep.
I just kind of like, I don't strong arm people into it, but I'm like, yeah, you, good. Committed? Yes. All right.
and she said she's going to be a matchmaker for me, so
Yeah.
we'll see what happens.
Outstanding. It worked for a previous co-host.
Yeah, it did.
So-
It worked out for him.
Because I'm not lucky enough to have a smoking hot wife like you, so.
Well, you know, just keep trying.
Okay, got it.
We'll
I'll-
get
I'll
you
make
the
it 2 calls.
appropriate sized T-shirt before you leave, so
Just
that
so
you
everybody
can.
knows this was
just
my
so-
chest, but it fell.
I'm sorry to hear that. That's gotta be tough.
I hate when that happens.
Yeah. Oh, age. I tell you. Ashley, go ahead.
I'm Ashley. I am 37. I am married, 7 kids, 2 grandsons. And my husband and I run a construction business. I also am a skincare business owner. And currently, I am working on a e-magazine called Driven to Self-Care.
Oh.
I podcast as a guest quite a few times recently and over the course of the last year about self-care and the journey that I have been on after a severe illness that almost took my life almost 6 years ago now. So that's kind of where my passion is the self-care topic.
I remember that. We
You
came to
do
see you in the
remember
hospital. I didn't want to. I wanted to just leave you there, but Sarah made me feel bad about it. So
Thanks.
you're welcome.
I love
You
you,
know, I still
Travis.
think you owe me for that.
Oh, whatever. I've paid you back lots of times.
She makes good food
With self-care tips
and makeup, obviously.
and makeup, obviously. Yeah, I know it looks really good on you.
Thank you.
Well, this whole podcast started because of the 2 words "I disagree," which have really just been a catalyst in Dr. Patrick Flynn's life. And so we just wanted to be able to use this as a bigger platform to bring other people to the table and have a voice, because we know that the best way to change and affect culture is when we get other people together and sit down and have conversations. And so before this podcast even started, Doc and I spent a bunch of time together talking about it and thinking about it and really just honing in on what we wanted the vision for it to be, and we wrote this down. In the past 4 years, there have been more disagreements, controversies, opinions, ideas, failed expectations, character reveals, surprises, disappointments, lies, beliefs, assumptions, and bullshit than ever before. And the purpose of the I Disagree podcast is to correlate with Doc's Saturday morning show called A Different Perspective on topics related to health, men and women, politics, and religion. So before we get going, we always make a point on the I Disagree podcast to talk about the difference between rules and exceptions. So here on the podcast, we want to focus on the general rules of things more than we want to focus on the exceptions. Because whenever you're talking to somebody, whether you're agreeing with them or disagreeing with them, arguing, debating, whatever it is, people always want to go to the exceptions first. And while exceptions can be very important things, we want to focus on the general rule first, because we think that if we can kind of like hash that out and figure that out first, the exceptions can often just fall into line. So we just want to make sure that everybody knows that that's our focus as best as we can make it. All right? All right. All right, so here's how the game will be played. I will make a statement that I agree with, and then everybody will get to go around the table, and you will get to say 2 words. You get to say, I agree, or I disagree. And then we'll go around the table again, and everybody will get a chance to explain why they agree and disagree, and we'll have conversation around it. Sound like a plan? Cool. All right, I will say the first statement twice. When you get married, your extended family isn't part of your family. When you get married, your extended family is not part of your family. Ashley, 2 words. I know it.
Is not. I would agree with that.
Barry?
I would also agree.
I'm interested to hear your perspectives with your history. Travis?
Can you define what an extended family is?
Just so you have husband, wife, kids, if you have kids, and so anything outside of that. So that's like the parents, the aunts and uncles, cousins, siblings.
Okay.
So pretty much anything outside of you, Sarah, and your 2 kids.
So in-laws, cousins.
Correct,
aunts,
in-laws.
okay.
Yep.
Okay, I disagree.
Okay. Lorenzo?
I disagree.
Oh, this is fun. Okay, yay. Ashley, why don't you go ahead and explain why you think what you think?
Being that I am married for 16 years now, my immediate family, if you will, doesn't pay my bills. And I feel like my focus is my house, not anybody else, not their opinions, not just anything outside of that. Now, I will say, like, are they important? Are they loved? Yes. But when a husband and wife come together, they are to cleave together and become one. So anything outside of that doesn't fit into that family unit anymore.
Awesome. Barry, go ahead.
You stole my thunder.
I'm sorry.
That's kind of what I'm thinking is, it's not that they're not important. I don't dispute that. But everybody in today's society is so busy, you have enough of your own shit to deal with. Mm-hmm. You shouldn't have to worry about what you're going to do for this one or this one or this one. You have your own little clique you need to deal with. And like Ashley said, they're not paying your bills. They're not making decisions in your home. They don't have any, let's say, justification on what you do in your own home. That's your castle. You're responsible for that castle. Mm-hmm. So therefore, I think you have enough of your own stuff to deal with. That's why I disagree.
Right. Okay, before we do you two, because you guys agreed and you guys disagree, can we just like circle back? What, for both of you, what role do you think your extended family does play, or what does it play in your real lives? I'm just curious.
Honestly, I don't feel like they necessarily have a role. And that's because of boundaries that we've put into place, especially for specific family members. But building relationship maybe with the kids, if they choose to do that, is one thing, but otherwise it's not like let's get together every couple days. It's maybe a once in a while, let's get together. So for me, the extended family is way at a distance. They're not on the priority list, if you will, of I'm going to pour into you every day and text you and call you. And no, my house, my castle, like Barry said, that's the spot. That's the focus. Nothing beyond that.
What do you think?
It's kind of how I am too. I mean,
Yeah.
it seems like, maybe you can agree or disagree with me on this, extended family is never there unless you need something. Then all of a sudden everybody's there. But God forbid you have an opinion that they don't like, then what do? They disappear. You know, it just, Travis and I had this discussion earlier down in the lobby when we met. I mean, it's kind of sad in today's society where people can't get along and have agreements and disagreements and still be friends and or family. And that's where we're at here.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Travis, why don't you go ahead?
So, I disagreed, but I actually agree with everything you both said. There's a lot of value in thought behind that, and I can appreciate that. I went at it from a more practical standpoint. You know, if you check the DNA, yeah, we're related, and you know, there's a statement: you can't choose your family. You can't, right? You are related to who you're related to. My mom, as much as, you know, let's just say I don't like my mom, as much as I would like to, denounce her, she's still my mom, right? Now, my mom and I have a wonderful relationship, but my point is that she's still my mom. My aunts and uncles are still my aunts and uncles. They're a part of my past. We definitely don't have to implement them in our day-to-day or our future. That's our choice. We are primarily responsible for our kids, and I'm primarily responsible for my wife. So the responsibilities are different, but they are still considered family. Now, how you spend time with that family is up to you. And really, if you ask Sarah and I, we technically could be the exception to the rule because we don't talk to her side because they don't bring value and they bring destruction. And until that heals, we don't talk to them. We haven't talked to them in almost a decade. And it's sad. But we also, on the flip coin of that, have an extended family that has no relation to us. But we chose to love them, Papa Rick, Mama Deb, and Courtney and Cody and the kids, and because the kids are related to my wife through a divorce, and I'll spare the details because that's just a dicey situation. But my point is, so there's that side of it too. We can go the Vin Diesel, we're family, right? Fast and Furious, or there is that side of things, people that you're connected to. But really, at the end of the day, my answer, I'm going to keep it about family. Mm-hmm. They're related to me, and she has people related to her. Therefore, they're family. It's what you do with it's how you decide in your life to have them in your life is what matters. So, do they have as much pull or power or influence? They shouldn't. I think that you need to be careful who you allow to speak into your life, because if you allow the wrong family members to speak in your life too severely and too consistently, you're never going to grow. I see that all the time. I saw it with my wife. She would be growing and making gains. She's one of the smartest people I know, but her parents would always hold her back, pull her back to the spot they wanted her to be in. So, to become one, going back to that, there is a center family. It's your spouse and then your kids are after that. But even your kids leave. Even your kids grow up, start their own family. So really, if you want to think about it, you only have one family member, and this is actually the one that's not even related to you. It's your spouse. But, you see the rabbit hole you can go down with all this? Mm-hmm. That's why I decided to disagree, because at the end of the day, the practicalities are what hold the most when I can't come up with my own opinion.
Got it. Larry, I'm excited for this.
That's not my name. It would be Trevor.
Trevenzo. Trevenzo.
Oh, man. Oh,
Trery.
I'm
if
sorry.
You want to give me a shortened name.
Do I owe you
Trery.
reparations now?
Hey, the
100%.
okay.
The jacket and the shirt should be your indication that he's Trevenzo.
She didn't get the memo.
Something's wrong with her.
I know.
I don't know.
I know.
It's disrespect. It's fine.
You want to talk about it?
I don't want to talk about it, actually. I disagreed because grandparents, aunts, uncles, right? I think that when we start talking about these people, cousins, all these individuals, in-laws, the new fuckers that you'll bring in your family, like you said, when your kids go off and find pieces of shit to be with. So the key thing here is that all those individuals are family, right? So the person who your son or your daughter chooses to marry, they will be family. This is part of the reason why it's very important that they choose somebody that, everyone likes. They get this motherfucker in here who sucks, and can't do anything and is a piece of shit, and he's a man and he's not being a man, then we got a problem, right? And you're not going to want that guy in the family because he's in the family. And if something happens to them, like you said earlier, typically, the extended family only calls you, or they only hit you up when it's a problem. Well, that's what family is, right? It's a bunch of motherfuckers with problems who are going to call you all the time. Even your parents will call you when they have problems. Like my mother calls me when she has problems just to tell me about problems. Not to tell me that it's already been solved. Not to tell me, just to tell me there's a problem. She's family. Sometimes I wish, goddamn it, if we were not this close, I would not answer these motherfucking calls. This is ridiculous. I know what you're calling to say. What is going on, Ma? It's a tragedy. The TV went out. Oh, is everything okay? Oh, yeah, we got it fixed the other day. Well, what the fuck is this shit, right? So these people are family, and it extends over to these other individuals because you're going to end up loving your in-laws. Some people you may not like. I don't have brothers and sisters, but my father comes from 17. They don't all talk to each other, right? He talks to some of his family. Some of them he doesn't deal with. But I know this. If something was to happen, and this is the key thing with family, it's a lot about if something happens, if there is a time of need, because you do go away from these people, right? You go away from mom and dad. You go away from your siblings. You move away from them. You may even move to a different state. But when it all is said and done, You're still gonna need those people there for you when times are rough, or when you want to express happiness, and you're very excited to see them when you do see them, which means they are family. And I would even extend that to that even people like you said, who are not necessarily family, but you bring them into your family and now they become family. They're outside people, right? So these are friends who have now been so loyal or so they've exhibited exemplary behavior to you that you feel like they are better than my family sucks, right? So they're better than my family. And so you bring them in. So I think that anyone can really be family. And so this is why I disagree, because yes, your extended family in a sense they are family, because when they have problems, you want to keep this motherfucker happy, right? This little bitchin' ass man or this woman who cannot shut the fuck up about this shit, you are going to figure that whole situation out when they can't, because that is your family and you want to be done with it, right? You want to get done with that situation. Now, if this was somebody down the street, right? This guy is on the corner and your wife is like, oh my God, I feel so bad for him. You're like, man, fuck him, right? You're trying to convince her, hey, fuck him. Who cares about his life? But when it comes to your wife's mother, your wife's father, your husband's wife, your husband's mother, even people who are close to them. If it's your wife's cousin, if it's your husband's sister, maybe I'm not close to the brother, but I'm close to the sister. You are gonna even the one that you may be close with, right? You may be close with an in-law. You may be close with an in-law who you're like, well, I like that person. Like I would hang out with them. When we're done, I'm still hanging out with that motherfucker. So don't be upset with me because you suck and I like this person over here. So. But that they are still your family, because in the end, if you all have that kind of relationship and you all are functioning in that in that way with each other, you'll look out for them, and they essentially are family.
Awesome.
I found my brain hole going always to with this statement. It comes down to boundaries with your family.
Right.
I think the ones who have the healthy boundaries have healthy relationships. The ones who allow their parents to walk all over them, they will be walked all over their whole life. There has to be a healthy boundary. And I think that's why you see such a weird thing going on with society. You have, I know somebody I just talked to yesterday, parents are very hard on this person and it causes them to have major issues. So obviously that's a healthy thing, but they're still family. Mm-hmm. Just because it's a bad situation with bad boundaries does not mean that they're not family. It just means you got a very toxic situation. Mm-hmm. So I think the statement is incomplete if you're looking for a better argument, because really practically they're still your family. I think the real statement almost should be in this that we could talk about is, how do you make it a healthy situation to where you want to call them family again?
Yeah, kind of. It's kind of like you agree to disagree, so to speak. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it sounds like your mother and my mother get together on weekends. She will call and she will say the same shit she said to me 3 weeks ago. But she's your mother, so you roll your eyes and you listen. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But like you said, it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other. You can't please everybody all the time. It's that simple.
Right. And I made the statement. I'm the one who, agrees with it too. And I did leave it like a little bit vague, for a reason, because you want to see what people have to say about it and stuff. And my whole thing, we've kind of already said it too, is like, hey, like when you get married, you are leaving the family that you were part of before, and you are starting your own family, and you get to be in charge of that family. And I think there's so much dysfunction that can come out. You see it a lot during holidays, but there's so much dysfunction that can come out when your old family expects you to do the same things for holidays and other traditions, or how you educate your kids, or where you go to church, or where you're going to live, or what, like all of those kinds of things. And dysfunction really comes out in that. And it's like, well, there really shouldn't be, because those people, they're not part of your family. You are your own family, and you get to decide what to do. I think so. I'm fortunate that my parents and my husband's parents have totally just been like, whatever you guys want to do, like just let us know. Like there's no expectations on either side that we're showing up at Christmas and Thanksgiving and that kind of stuff. Like I think the way, in my opinion, the way ideally like an extended family would work is, first of all, as like a support system. Hopefully they can be a good support system for you, mm-hmm. but also as a like, hey, you're always welcome, but you're never expected. And I think there's a lot of expectation that goes on in terms of like extended families and stuff like that these days. And we see a lot of that like dysfunction and everything, coming out a lot. So
I think it's noteworthy too to say that it's important for us to remember our families.
Yeah.
And what I'm trying to say is, so in 2022, my dad had cancer, and it was pretty severe. And if it wasn't treated right away, he wouldn't have been around for Christmas. And I mean, he was withering away quite quickly. But thankfully, thank the Lord that he's healed and he's got a clean bill of health. But during that time, I already almost by default had this hospice mentality, like, all right, I might need to move in with my wife for a while, help him out and support mom and do all these things. And it would have been a pain in the real butt. But my point is, I was going to do that. And it's because I have a healthy family. So my point is, if we're not family once we move on, we lose that connection. I mean, I want someone, let's just be blunt, I want someone to wipe my ass when I'm too old and I can't do it myself. If I don't have family on the back end to support me on my way out, who do I have? I got me a lot of diaper rash going on, right? So my point is, because what if my wife goes before me? Heaven forbid. I got nobody then. So there has to be family for a reason too. On top of that, like have a healthy family, tree going on so you guys can support each other in those times. I'm not saying you have to be their best friends. I mean, my aunt and uncle, we loved my grandparents, but they moved in. They had a healthy relationship, they had healthy boundaries, and they moved in when they had to do their thing. But they were able to do that because they had healthy boundaries. They were able to communicate and put grandma, grandpa, or mom and dad to them in the right spot in their life. And if people who do that right, you'll have a good, healthy transition as life takes you down that season. And if we lose that, there's going to be a lot of lonely people, a lot more suicides that we're already seeing. I mean, thinking about being, close to the end and having nobody, no family. Oof.
Well, I think that's going to happen.
I think it is.
Because these people today have dogs as their family. Like the cat is my family. I just bought this new dog and it can't walk because I put it in my fucking purse. This is the family that I have chosen for myself. Or they're going to be family with a bunch of people online. This is my family. Oh my God, the face fuck community is my family.
And they all like me.
Oh my Lord, the twit
No, they
twat
don't.
community is my family. I've twit twatted all day. I can't believe how many of my family, my brothers and sisters on the twit twat, or the Insta fuck, or the Snap fuck, they love me. They love me. These are my family, right? This is family. And they're all going to be very lonely when they get older, when they get into the specialized housing that will be available for them. There will be specialized housing for my generation. It will be right there. They're going to set it up for us. It's going to be socialized. And those people will be online with new family. As they're perishing away, they'll have new online friends, probably in the next room over, right? They won't even know that there's people also in this motherfucking place with them because this will be the new family. I think that literally the powers that be would love for there to be no physical family. I really
Yes.
do believe that they would like that.
Agreed.
I believe that they're trying to corrode it in every way, right? So if they can get there to be no family, then people will be quite okay. They will be quite okay with the idea of an animal being your family member, a person online being your family member. You know what? God damn it. Beyonce is my goddamn sister. We family.
I saw the resemblance.
It's true. It's true.
All you single ladies, all
Yeah.
you single
And
ladies.
Dane Cook. We're all family.
You're all
Singles
family.
too.
Oh yeah, but here's a
Yes.
fun thing for all the people
What
who
have I
think
been
that
missing all this time?
I know, for all the people who think that Facebook is family. Here, put a post out there just for fun, just for shits. Put a post out there, and then look at all your likes, loves, whatever, and then take that list of people, look at them, remove the actual family, and then leave the ones who are your Facebook family, and ask them to come over and wipe your butt, or give you a ride to work.
In the post?
Yeah, no, call them. No,
Just like call them.
Like, I need your help.
You got to get your samples in first.
Yeah.
Oh,
I need.
I thought like in the post you said, "Come wipe my butt," and then
No,
you
no.
say like
Somebody's
how
gonna
many
wipe.
people. Are
You got to
gonna
call
come
them
by.
if you even have their number.
Well, I'll tell you, you'll have a family of people will contact you to come wipe your butt. They will.
I'm sure I know the family, and I'm not going to talk about that. But my point is, I bet you. Or hey, my car died. I need a ride to work. I bet you might get one that would help you once or something, and then call it good. How many people are going to show up? Your real family does, or the people that you choose to call your real family are going to be the ones that show up, not your Facebook family.
But you're right, though. Think about it, like what you just said. You have a shit day, you put it on Facebook. Just a vent. You find out who your true friends are, the people that answer. Otherwise, people are like, fuck is wrong with him? Who gives a shit?
Yeah,
You know? So,
yeah. Or they're talking stuff. They're talking shit on there, right? For the most part, you put a post up, and then like I tell you this all the time. So anytime. When I was doing music, anytime I never utilized Facebook, right? So even to this day, if there's anybody out there, it's a tip, it's a secret. I'm not gonna tell you my rap name, but when I would do music, right, I would only post online if I was going to release music. People would always be like, man, you got a Facebook, but you never own. And it says I'm in Switzerland. It says I live in Switzerland, right? So people would ask me, like, how's Switzerland? I'm like, it's amazing. Wish you were here. And so people would be like, man, I just heard your new album. I'm like, oh, yeah, man, we recorded that in Helsinki. Oh, my God, where's Helsinki? Finland. Man, we're all over this motherfucker. And so everybody would be like, oh, man, that's amazing. And I would only put posts up. Like, I'd put a post up, the color blue. And then I'd say, hey, everyone, I've been recently doing some digital art. I want to express myself in different ways besides music. So I put up the color blue. And it'd be like Smurf blue. And I would call the art, the project, inside of a Smurf, or inside, like Smurf mind, right? Something like that. So people would be like, oh man, that's so profound. Like, so it kind of stopped. Like, people stopped taking me serious when I put this, it's about to get real graphic. When I put this post up, it was, I looked on to Google, found the color blood, right? So I put it up, and the post, I said, this is new digital art. It's my new project. It is called Prom Night. And nobody liked it.
Not even your family? You
Man, I would have liked it.
Yeah, no one liked it.
want to talk about that?
No, but the album did really well. It was called Pride. You guys can catch it on SoundCloud. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, yeah.
Did you have like a rainbow on it too?
I did have a rainbow
Did
on it.
you?
Yeah, and it makes my name, my rap name.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait, was that before the rainbow was a thing?
No, it was
Oh.
for that.
Oh, was it?
Because someone
Alright.
put a post up, once again, back to the face fuck, and someone fucked their face and put a post up saying, we need to celebrate Pride. And I truly must have been smoking the best marijuana ever in life, because I drew a blank and was like, what is Pride? And I didn't even realize it was June, and I'm like, what's Pride? And so I typed to somebody, what's Pride? And they were like, you don't know? How do you not know what Pride is? And I was like, Pride for what? What's happening? Am I missing something? And then I saw the rainbow flags. I'm like, oh.
Noah's Ark. I know.
Oh, Pride for this. Okay, I got you. And then they were like, yeah, you rude and all this. So, people got all offended because I asked
No, but
one question.
You're black though, so it's fine.
Well, it wasn't
not
fine.
rude.
It wasn't fine.
Oh.
You see, that's not how it works. See, the hierarchy of oppression, I am not above the
That is true.
Transformer man.
That's
the Transformer
true.
man.
You have been docked
The Transformer
some spots.
woman.
You've been docked spots.
The Transformer woman is truly above me because she's a Decepticon.
Yes.
Robot in
She is.
disguise.
I can't wait till we have some like more upgraded technology, because when you talk about this stuff, we can like just bring it up.
We should be.
because we should be having like a clip in here,
Yes.
like showing
People
some of
need
that.
to
Travis,
see what
if you can get that in.
Yeah, can you pull a
just go ahead
Decepticon
and,
up?
Go ahead and do that.
Can you pull a Decepticon? It's in the name, Decepticon. They
I
are
have no idea if we
deceptive.
have the technology to do that or not, but that is one of the things that we can start working on, because
Yes.
then we can start getting getting all that fanciness
So people will
in.
understand what
Yeah.
a Transformer is. He's a Decepticon, a robot in disguise.
Yeah, and then we can get that camera to go to that TV, and we can just hit play. It'll be great.
Boom. Yeah. maybe-
Optimus Trevenzo.
Yeah, Optimus Trevenzo. Exactly.
Yeah,
No, because then that's assuming that I am a Decepticon.
Well, then I'm out of words.
Yeah.
Okay, well, anyway. I wanted to go back actually because, okay, Travis, you brought up boundaries a couple of times. Ashley, you kind of alluded to this too. And so, I mean, okay, when you're talking about family members, okay, everybody has like toxic family members or just people they don't want to deal with in life. Like how do you guys actually handle those people? Do you just not contact them at all? Did you used to bow down to their whiny ways and then you had to get away from that? What are those like boundaries actually, what do they look like in your life? Or what would you tell people to do?
It's taken me a long time to set up appropriate boundaries, if you will, with that extended family. And I do agree with Travis saying like family is blood, like it is, but it's just that dynamic of where the focus is, in my opinion. But as far as boundaries go, this last Christmas, I should say, we really implemented them throughout the holidays, and we decided we're going to one stop, my husband's parents, and that was it. We didn't go anywhere else. And I said to my husband, I was like, why did it take so long for us to do this? Like, it was so quiet and so peaceful.
Even with 7 kids?
Yes. Well, 6 at home. 7 lives in North Carolina. But it was so peaceful. It was like, I don't have to go anywhere. And just because, say, I get a phone call from my dad, which happened at Thanksgiving this year, and him and I have had kind of a very odd dynamic of a relationship since I was a teenager. But a couple days before Thanksgiving, and he says, oh, well, you're invited to come over. Well, that's great. I'm in Kentucky. You could have called weeks ago, but whatever. It wouldn't have mattered anyway because I was still going to be in Kentucky. But then it turned into, well, you can call me sometimes. It doesn't always have to be me calling you. And I'm pretty sure it was the other way around for many years, and I'm not playing into that game. So it's like, it's an interesting dynamic. It really is. And it's not easy to set up boundaries with family, especially if you've catered to their whims for years. It's very difficult to put them in place because then somebody ends up butthurt and doesn't understand why you're not making that effort anymore. But it's definitely something that is necessary. And I wish I would have done it years ago and didn't, but I'm thankful I did this last year. So
Did you have people in your family that were like hurt by whatever decisions you needed to? I mean, not the Thanksgiving thing that you said.
Quite
but I mean,
honestly, like nobody even, I reached out to my grandma and I simply said, we're not going to be at Christmas this year. This is what we've got going on. And nobody reached out beyond that. Like, didn't ask where we were, nothing. So it was just kind of like, whatever, I really don't care anyway, because it's your same shit, different day stories over and over again. And it was like that this last weekend at a family baby shower. And I'm just like, I didn't talk to anybody.
Yeah. Well, that just kind of proves you should have just done it the whole time because nobody cared anyway. So you could have been doing everything that you liked all the time. And
right?
look at all that.
I know.
Just to clarify, you said, I'm assuming you want me to go now.
Yeah, go ahead.
It was you asked about boundaries, right? How do we create the boundaries?
Because like why didn't you have them before, and then what happened? Like what was the saga in there? Because I know that there are people watching who are probably mad at their extended family, or mad at in-laws, or mad at somebody who's toxic in their family and doesn't want them but doesn't know how to cut them off because they're afraid they're going to be hurt and all that kind of stuff. So
I'll just talk about Sarah's parents without giving details. That would cause further pain in case they ever run across this podcast. But, Sarah doesn't care. She says, okay, well, in the beginning, I obviously was courting their daughter, and I wanted to do whatever I could to win their approval and also get along with them, because the end game is always with me. I always want to get along with everybody. That's just my goal. I know that's not a very achievable goal, but you have to try. We can't not try, right? So I tried, and over the time, I learned something, that whenever she would talk to her parents individually, because they're divorced, her attitude would change, our fights would increase, and I saw their stress levels significantly increase. Well, over time, as she grew and found out some things about her past, which I will keep private, but as things were revealed to her, her dad came over one time, and he came over uninvited and was wondering why Sarah and I were not answering calls. We missed one call, and I think we were even at work. And I remember this. Her brother came with, and we just moved into the house about a month earlier, and the brother came in and dad came in. Brother goes, "Hey, show me Braden's room." "Oh, okay, sure." And we go in the Braden's room, and he has all these cool little stickers on the wall, just having fun. I'm going, why is he so fixated on Braden's room? It's because he wanted Braden to get out of here. I think he knew what dad was going to do. Dad blew up at her. Complete unhealthy boundaries, right? And I hear, "Travis, help." And her dad is like screaming at her. And she's pale white in the face. It is May or June at the time, I believe. And so there's no reason to be that pale. I mean, she is scared. She just had to do a lot of processing during that time. But right on cue, they would not respect that, and they wanted their way only. And I had to physically, after 3 times I gave him a chance, I had to physically remove him from the house. And they got physical. I mean, it was not, he cracked the door. He tried, I had to like pressure point the guy. I do all these things to get him out. And then he did the Old Testament tearing of the cloak and his buttons flew everywhere. And it was so dramatic. And I said, I love you. Get your hell out of here and go home. Or something like that. And that was the last time I spoke to him. And I would love to heal, but at the end of the day, it's not going to change my boundaries. We had the right boundaries set up with him, and then eventually her mother, where they were constantly manipulating her. Whether they were doing it on purpose or not, that's for everyone else to decide. I don't care. All I know is it was manipulating her to feel crappy about herself, crappy about her relationship, crappy about her future, because they're miserable and they wanted her, for whatever reason, her to feel the same way. Her and I stood up for doing what was right. I mentioned the extended family earlier about, Papa Rick and Mama Deb. They were the recipients of one of the real bad things that her family did. And her family told us to support her brother who was married to Rick and Deb's daughter. And we supported her because of what he was doing on a consistent basis, fill in the blanks. And we tried to get him to change. We tried to get him to fix, and he didn't. So we stood by her. And we just did the right thing. And guess what? We've been shunned ever since. And that's okay because they were toxic anyways. But my point is, blood isn't always thicker than water. So set up your boundaries with your blood because your blood will betray you. They might not be doing it on purpose, but it's all they know. And they'll just pass that all they know onto your generation, onto you. Don't let them. If someone's got a bad boundary, this is almost an end statement. I should probably just shut up. But my point is, if you got unhealthy boundaries with family, cut them off. And if they don't respect it, block them. There is ways to block them. There is no way that family can come to our neighborhood without me catching them eventually here. They can drive by or do stuff like that, but they'll never get in. I will whoop their ass if they ever come there. And I think they know that. That's why they haven't. But my point is, you put the boundaries in place so that your family is where they're supposed to be. And every family's different. So my boundary might not be the same as yours, even though it does seem a little abrasive, doesn't it? But same with yours and same with yours. You have to find out what works for you and stick to it. Stick to your guns. Don't let them manipulate you back into getting a hold of your life and grabbing an inch and eventually taking a mile.
Right. So, Barry, I want to hear from you too because you mentioned that you've been married twice before. So did you, in those marriages, were those marriages affected by like bad boundaries with in-laws or extended family or anything like that in all of your experiences?
Absolutely. I mean, like you just said, you've got to take a stand.
Mm-hmm.
And I had in-laws that didn't agree with things that I did. Sorry, that's my job. That's what I have to do. And it would seem like there's certain people that would try to, like you said, they try to spin it and play it on their angle, and you got to stand your ground. Because the minute you get soft on them, all of a sudden, bang, they want to drop the hammer and go, yep, this is the way it's supposed to be. You were wrong. So, and the frustrating thing for me is, you talk about family, is I lost my father when I was 14 months old. And because this was back in the 60s, they didn't agree with some of the things that my mother and father had did because they were separated when this happened. That family didn't want nothing to do with me. I didn't know I had these. I knew I had these family members. I never spoke to any of them until I was probably 20, 21 years old. So that's where I have always been of the opinion that, yes, family is important, but you got to look out for number one. You got to cover your own ass before you cover anybody else's ass. But like you were talking about, Dana, you have to. There's things in your life that are going to be difficult, and you find out who your true family and friends are when you go through that bullshit. Yeah. I mean, you go through. Perfect example. My past divorce. My best friend, my ex-wife, went to him with all kinds of bullshit that wasn't true. He believed it. This is supposed to be my best friend. And I did exactly what you said. If that's what you believe, fuck you. You're blocked. I'm done. Mm-hmm. You've got to set boundaries, and you can't let toxic people into your life. Mm-hmm. Plain and simple.
Right. Yeah, and I think it's good to set, those kind of boundaries, especially with extended family, which is, that's really like what our focus has kind of been of talking. But as you were talking too, I was kind of thinking about, I feel like sometimes inside of marriages there can be issues with, say, maybe husband thinks one thing and wife's family thinks another, and now wife has a hard time having her husband's back because she wants to have her family's back. And how is she supposed to know what the right answer is? And then that whole dynamic comes in of, well, which one do you choose? And I've always kind of been of the mindset of like, well, my family is my husband and kids, so that's whose side, for lack of a better word of saying it, that's whose side I end up taking in it, even though that goes against my other family that I grew up with. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Or experiences with that?
You've got to take care of, like I said, your castle. Mm-hmm. This is your circle. This is what's most important to you. Anything that's outside of that, that's secondary. You have to take care of what you believe in first. And if people don't believe in what you're doing or they try to drag you down, you don't need those people in your life. What
if that's your spouse, though? You know what I mean?
I know.
How much leeway is there for that? Where's the boundary with that? Because that's
with your spouse. I think you guys can have different opinions, mm-hmm. but you shouldn't hate each other for it. I hate no one. There's people that are toxic and will have nothing to do with me for the rest of my life, but I don't hate them. But I'm not going to act like I'm their best friend when they're around me because they know me and blah blah blah. But yeah. I mean, that's a tough situation. I wouldn't even know how to answer that. I mean, what do you think? I mean, that's tough. If you guys are butting heads in the same house, that's not healthy for a relationship either.
Wouldn't you already know that about that person? Wouldn't you already have some of these ideas?
But do you? Because remember it's so cliche, right? But that how women change and men always stay the same.
Women always change.
Well, yeah, I know.
Right. So any man that's with a woman, he should know that she's going to change. So where she is primarily with fundamental things, like things that are most important, right? Mm-hmm. So if you guys, not saying that you have to share the same politics, but if you know that she's a bleeding heart liberal, you should know that as the years go on, mm-hmm. she's going to get more of a fucking bleeding heart liberal. Mm-hmm. It's going to get worse. So you either need to know that you're okay with that, or you need to figure out a way to bring her around to thinking a little bit less liberal and somewhat in the middle on issues, right? If you're with somebody who already is economically in a mess, right? You need to take either they understand that you need them to get their shit together, or you're willing to help them get it together, and they're willing to accept that help and get their stuff together because they want to get their credit together or get their lives together. But if you know that you have a person who's lazy, they're lazy from the first moment that you all have this conversation, and you blow it off as, okay, well, they're attractive, or I really like being with them.
You get caught up.
Yeah, so then that's on you. I mean, like, once again, with the whole boundaries thing, I am a firm believer that you set those boundaries from day one. Like, you don't wait. Like, you see shit you don't like, and not call that shit out. Hey, I don't like that. Don't do that. I'm not going to stand for that. I won't allow that. I don't like that. And that goes for any family members, too. I mean, I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? I don't like your mother. Your mother's being a bitch. She comes in here. She want to act like a bitch. And tell her, you being a bitch. She got a problem with it. Step your ass outside. Equal rights. I'll kick your fucking ass like a man. So there you go. So that's you need to set those boundaries early. So yeah, if you're with, this is what I always get. This always kills me when people have relationships that don't go well, right? Mm-hmm. And then they say that whole thing about people changing. Mm-hmm. And I always think people shift and adjust their behaviors and attitudes based on you and different things that may be happening with their finances, sure. But just completely changing, these people didn't change. They were always this. I remember there's a psychological, I don't know what this theory is. You take the psychology course. At some point, they're going to teach you this about human behavior. The same way typically people, how they meet you, right? So me, for instance, a lot of people will meet me at first and they'll be like, oh man, you're so self-confident. Man, you're really smart. Man, you really got like, man, your stuff together. But by the time we get done with each other, a year, 2 years, when they're done with me, when they feel like fuck Lorenzo, Trevenzo, whatever, I don't like him, I am now arrogant. My self-confidence is no longer self-confidence. I am now arrogant.
Bingo.
Yeah, I'm no longer Aaron. I'm now Aaron. Me having it all together. You said that, right? I didn't say I had it all together. Now I think I'm the shit.
Perfect. Because I have no filter, and people don't like that about me.
Right.
I have no filter. I will tell you where the bear shits, and if you don't like it, there's the door. Don't let it hit you in the fucking ass on the way out.
Right.
And it's a lot of people don't like that about me.
Well, I'm like it about
But you
people
can't
in general.
sugarcoat anything. Like you said, you can't. This is who I am.
That's right.
It comes down to one word: convenience. Is it
Yeah.
convenient for that person to be here or to do this or to do that? They're too worried about what everybody else thinks about them, and they don't look out, and they don't look at the big picture. Everybody has fucking blinders on now.
Yeah.
You got to look at the big picture. You can't say, "Is this good for me now?"
Well, I agree.
Facebook blinder. Get your CNN blinders.
Well, I agree with what you said about looking out for number one, looking out for yourself, right? So who's the most important here, right? Should you be miserable so that others could be happy?
Yeah.
Is that how that works?
Yep.
I'm
That's
gonna
what
tell you-
everybody wants you to think.
I'm going to tell you right now, there is a group of people. They go to a certain school. Figure out whoever the fuck it is you want to. But in their law, that is a ethical reasoning right there. You don't do what's best for the group. You do what's best for you. So if what's best for you is to not be with a person who is constantly combative, who constantly wants to bitch at you about doing things that you're not obligated to do, but they don't want to do them themselves. This person does not believe in give and take. You give, they just keep taking. They never give to you, and you start recognizing this. You've addressed this. You've verbally said to them. You've given them, you've been fair, right? You've said, hey, I don't agree with this. Please stop. They've said, oh, I hear you. I'm going to keep going. I don't really give a fuck what you're saying. Because that's the attitude if they don't stop, is that you obviously don't care. You must not be concerned with what I'm asking you to do.
And then they have the audacity to be pissed off when you walk away.
Right. It's your fault. How dare you leave? Right?
Yep.
How dare you outsmart my boundaries? How dare you outwit me for once?
Yeah.
I mean, it's. I already said my thing.
Ashley, what you got? You look like you're thinking, or are you just taking it all in?
I'm taking it all in. I'm just here.
Do you think people change, or do you think
I think
damn, what's your name again?
Travenzo.
Dang. Or do you think Travenzo?
You're running the show and you don't even know his name.
Hey, you guys should just be impressed that I even knew your names when you walked in the door. All right, because I'm not good at names. I'm good at faces. And you weren't even on Facebook for me to know what you looked like. I'd asked me.
I turned
who
around
you
and looked at
were.
this camera. I think we need to turn it off because it's not very flattering on me from this angle. So.
Oh, well.
I think
actually,
you're
I've been
beautiful.
meaning to tell you a couple times. You could actually scooch like 2 inches toward me to be in the camera more when Travis goes to your side. But anyway, yeah, you can just. But you can't be
that
with
was
the
3
other-
inches.
Oh yeah, and then you move your mic with you. There you go.
Now
Yes,
it's
because
1
now
and a half.
look, now you look better.
Oh,
Look at
okay,
There you go.
That's better.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
just
See,
Right there.
see?
Keep it right there.
That's better. Keep it right there. Yeah.
Well, that's the mirror we all want to see.
What do you got?
I think people can change
What is that
for.
background?
Wait.
It's a Decepticon.
Oh man. Okay. Good one, Travis.
That fancy
I'll give you that.
technology.
Outstanding.
Okay.
Which one
if
is
we
that?
can do that, we
Can
gotta
you get
be
a
able
red?
to pull up.
Can you get a red hat and a blazer on that?
Is that Megatron or Starscream?
Oh man. Oh
looks like
man. Okay,
Megatron.
that
Oh,
is
that's
that is some good. It would have taken me a while to probably notice
Outstanding.
that, honestly, unless you would.
Chavistio. Good job.
Because I try not to look up there too much, otherwise it'll like be distracting. Okay,
Can you
now.
use that to take 25 pounds off of me?
Oh my god.
That's what
Get
AI
that done,
for.
Travis.
Oh, okay.
Oh
That's
man,
right.
that was, I didn't know we had those kind of capabilities. But if we do, that gives me hope that we can start playing your stuff. So, Ashley, go ahead
Okay,
for whatever you
so-
were going to say. People
gotta-
changing spouses,
Now
all
I
the
gotta
things.
remember what I was gonna say. Okay, so I think like when you first come together, obviously you're two very broken people trying to do life together, right? So in my opinion, I think you can either change for the worse or you can change for the better. It really, like you said, it's ultimately the choice you want to make. Because if you would have asked me probably 17 years ago, and I said this to my husband the other day when we celebrated our anniversary of just becoming a couple for the last 19 years, he said to me, do you think we would have ever made it 19 years? I said, if you would have asked me 17 years ago, I would have said no. Because we had a lot of things that were very much against us in our relationship. My own dad even said, you won't make it 5 years. we've been together 19. So it's because we made a conscious choice to change for the better. We could have stayed where we were, but then we would have been like my extended family, his extended like we still would have been in that toxic situation. So I do believe that people can change, but it has to be that conscious choice of I want to be a better human and a better contributing person to society.
You know, I want to bring this in because we put the boundaries in with Sarah's parents. She was able to become, the 3 S's. Of course, she's sexy, but she's serene, but she's much more peaceful and supportive. And because she's able to be a healthier version of herself, she was able to support me in doing what I want to do. And now we're flourishing in a much better way than we were. You know us back then. Like, we were struggling, and we removed the struggles. We're not avoiding conflict. We're removing the toxicity is the difference. And we did that, and now Sarah is the best version of herself. And I believe I'm pretty close to the best version of myself, and I'm always growing, and so is she. But we put those boundaries up. Your family is important, and I agree they are still, your extended family is still your family, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if it's family or friends. If you don't have the appropriate boundaries up, they will wreck your life in some way, shape, or form. Some are worse than others, but they'll wreck your life.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Do you guys know what the 3 S's are when he's talking about that? So here on the podcast, so Doc has made a big deal about the 3 M's for men, mind, muscle, and money. And then to go along with that, we were like, well, we need like the same thing for women. We need some kind of like, letters and 3 of them and stuff like that. And so we came up with the 3 S's, which are sexy, supportive, and serene. So one of the things we talk about a lot on the I Disagree podcast is men need to have their 3 M's together, their mind, muscle, and money. And women need to have their 3 S's together, their sexy, supportive, and serene. And just some of the idea behind that is like, building high-value Americans, high-value people with high standards in life, because that's just one way to help improve culture. And I just have a thing. I mean, you heard me talk about like the Dana Disagrees account that I have and supporting, the alpha male and the patriarchy and whatever fun other things I like to say about it. But I also like to, sometimes pick on women and stuff, because there are just some behaviors out there that I really, really don't like. And so I just really, I'm very passionate. That's why I'm writing these manuals, right? They're based on the 3 S's and the 3 M's. And so like the manuals are broken out like into those 3 parts with behaviors under each of them. But I'm really passionate about also just getting women to step up their game and become that like high value woman, for their man, which conveniently leads us into our next topic, unless anybody else has anything about family that they want to say before I go on.
I will.
Go ahead.
I think I am going to challenge everybody to stand up for yourselves and have healthy boundaries. Even the ones who are kind of the rotten eggs, like I explained my situation, deep down, if you have a healthy boundary, even that part might serve a purpose. But if you don't find out where they belong, it's because they didn't want to be where we put them. They didn't want that. They walked away. We just set a boundary up. Always set a boundary up, because your family has value if they choose to accept your boundaries. But you have to put the line in the sand so they know what they can cross and what they can't. I think wonderful people of my life are my parents, and and Rick and Deb, my other parents, and they give sound advice, and they advise us on things, but they don't tell us and shame you if you go a different route. They don't. But find people, allow your family to support you through wisdom, discernment, and helping you with your life to be successful. A family member wants you to be successful. A healthy family member wants you to be successful. I want my son and daughter to be better than I am, and my wife. And that's saying something, because I think we're pretty cool. But on all seriousness, it's about boundaries is the big thing. Find that boundary, because it's very sad if they're completely out of your life. It's a sad deal. Every day, every year, Sarah has to, adjust her emotions, and I have to adjust my thoughts to prepare for her emotions that may or may not come out. So put the damn healthy boundaries up so that you can establish a good, healthy relationship for your life with your family. If you don't, you will be like a lot of people, struggle. And that's up to you.
Awesome.
Yep.
Let's talk about some crazy women, because I love doing that. All right, next statement. I'm going to say it twice again, and then we're going to do the whole same I agree, I disagree thing. All right. Dog moms aren't moms. Dog moms are not moms. Ashley, go ahead.
Agree.
Barry.
Agree.
Travis.
Agree.
No, I disagree.
All right, good. I look forward to this. Ashley, go ahead.
To me, as a mother, you don't birth a four-legged creature. Like, I put in a lot
Don't
of...
give them ideas.
Oh, well,
Like,
in today's...
It is a new generation. Shit's
like-
going to happen.
Yeah, in today's society, if men can have babies, like, okay, I've seen
And
it
periods.
all. Now,
Don't forget about that.
yeah, that too. But don't get me wrong. While you can love your pets, they still are not a human child. Like, my husband will say he did all the work. But
His work was a squirt.
I
So-
love that.
Look at the shock on his face.
I think I need to tell him
I
that.
mean, she's not wrong, but it was just shocking to hear it.
So he did nothing else. He didn't pump. He didn't pump. He put no pumps in. You did all the pumping. That's work. That was work. That man got his heart rate up. He lost calories, God damn it.
That's cardio.
That
On
man
a
lost
school
weight.
night.
He lost weight that night. You pumped all night. He pumped.
He
worked.
probably went and they had a sandwich
He
afterward.
worked. He
Probably
pumped,
didn't lose
worked,
weight.
and squirt. He did every goddamn.
Yeah. All right. Sure. Sure he did.
Oh, goodness.
Oh my gosh.
I think I'm gonna clip that one for my Instagram too. I think I'll get some good views on it. Anyway.
Oh, but anyway, like, to me, if I'm going to put in the work to birth a human, yeah, I'm not birthing a dog or a cat or no. That, like, again, you can love your pets. You can treat them as family, whatever. But at the end of the day, it is not birthing a human. Like, that, it's not even comparable.
So it doesn't make you a parent.
No.
All right. Barry.
It's a lot of work. I still can't believe you have 7 children.
6 are my own.
Okay.
7 is adopted.
But still,
yes.
So
children are a lot of work. There's more to it than just going through the motions. I mean, you have to feed your kids. What do you do for a pet? Put a bowl down on the floor, little food, little water. If you got a cat, you clean a litter box.
they have self-cleaning litter boxes.
I know. It's just unbelievable. But we were talking about this earlier. I work at an airport. I see people with these carriers coming through, getting on an airplane with an animal. Are you fucking kidding me? Is your life that dependable that you need to have this support frickin' whatever the hell it is? Jesus Christ. What's next? We're going to have support horses and donkeys going on fucking aircraft next?
Again, don't give people ideas.
Okay.
Be very
okay.
careful.
Okay, scratch it. Never mind.
We'll cut
But
it out.
like she said, you're not a mom. I mean, there's financial responsibility for children. There's feeding children. There's changing diapers. There's paying expenses for school and for extra activities and things like that. And it just, no, she's not a mom because it's for like this animal. God forbid this animal dies. What do? You go out and buy another one. You lose a child. What do? You go out and buy another one. I mean, come on. Let's be real. They're not moms.
Maybe if you're like,
Cambodian little girls are going for $15,000 a pop.
yeah, maybe if you're like in Congress or something, you can do that. But
There's got to be a Groupon for something somewhere too. You know.
God.
No. But yeah, it's just it's totally different. It's an animal or a child. You're not a mom. Sorry.
right. Travis, go ahead.
You know, it was June 7th, and it was 2019. And our first dog that my wife and I had together was Bruiser. He was a German Shepherd, Border Collie, mostly German Shepherd. Looked like a German Shepherd, had a fluffy tail like a Border Collie. And he was a sweet dog, wasn't he? And he was as close to being a family member as possible. I love that dog so much. And it was honestly one of the first things that my wife and I bought together. It was one of those little symbolisms of like moving on from your past and just building a life together. A dog is a big piece, a big responsibility. And on that day, on June 7th, when he died, unexpectedly, and we're at the vet, got an X-ray done, and within seconds after the X-ray, just checking his hips because he had hip dysplasia, fell over and died. My wife and I would drink a lot of wine that weekend, and I cried horribly. And I tell you that on purpose. That was probably the worst overall weekend I had I can think of. You know, grandpa died. That was horrible, but I expected it. They were. I was prepared, but that dog I wasn't. I have every reason to tell you that I believe that a dog is a son to my wife, or she's a mom, but it's not. We got new ones, and we did it in 8 weeks. And I love them, and they bring me joy, companionship. There is responsibilities, but in 10 years, if you're lucky, they die. I mean, lucky, I mean, like mine was 6 when he died. Like we weren't as blessed, but they last 10 years. You know what? If you do things right and the Lord's has your favor, you have the Lord's favor, guess what? You're going to live a whole life, and you're going to die, and they're going to still be alive. So 10 years to a lifetime, there's that comparison. No. Oh, by the way, my kids talk back. Dogs don't. They bark. You know, they piss, they shit, and then that's it. And they play. It is not anything near raising a child. Anyone who raises a child knows the work and effort to do it, especially for kids doing it right. If your kid is like Haley and Braden are off to a wonderful start in life, it is because of hardcore parenting. That, you know what, telling my dog to sit 3-4 times for a treat and then they do that automatically for the rest of their life is not hard work. It's just doing, being responsible so that dog doesn't do something stupid like bite, random person walk across the street and they have to put them down. My point is, it is not nearly the same. I think people are like, oh my gosh, but I can't have kids. I understand that. So have your fur baby. But that's the exception. The rule is no, you didn't give birth to it. You know what? It doesn't last a lifetime. And it only brings you a sliver of what a child can bring to you in regards to this life and the purpose and all the things. So no, it's not even close.
Awesome. Good. You guys both brought up things I'm going to circle back to, but I want to know what you're going to say.
Oh shit! Here we go.
I know.
Well,
It's always fun.
I was able to cheat because everybody gave me talking points to use. That was great.
I saw you taking notes. Over.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. So, it was. I was gonna say this off top. The point I knew one of you all was gonna make the point of it's not yours. You didn't have it, and then you said that you have an adopted child, and I was like, perfect. Hypocrisy. So, with the dog, you didn't birth that dog, but you did not birth that human either. So it is essentially the same as adopting another family member, which you've done. Hypocrisy. So, with that said, that dog doesn't have to be blood, doesn't have to come from you. You could have watched that dog come out of the other dog when you're on the farm, and you said, "Let me get that little baby dog." Right? And so from birth, that dog has been in your life. That is pretty much your child. That's your child. Adoption was my first point. Hypocrisy. It was brought up. It was brought up about feeding them and putting, human instincts and all of this stuff. Well, you have to, or feeding kids and things. You have to feed them. And here's the thing. If you don't feed a baby's gonna get hungry. They'll eat something. You ain't gotta feed them. They'll eat something. They'll find something around there to eat. They know what to eat. They eat stuff all the time. They get hungry. They gonna eat. You can put the food out there. They will eat it. It's the same thing with the dog. The dog, if you don't train it to eat, it will eventually eat.
Hold on.
Or a cat. Yes?
A baby can walk around?
A baby can slide around and crawl around.
A toddler sliding in the fridge at 2 o'clock to make a ham and cheese sandwich.
Didn't say they were making a ham and cheese sandwich. The food is around, right? You're doing the same thing. Put food around. The baby will eat.
Yeah, but then they call 911 and then I do my job because they
Who's
picked up
calling
shit off the
that,
floor.
That baby can't call 911 on you.
Why not?
Because that baby doesn't know how to use the phone.
But he knows how to eat.
And crawl around, find the food when they're fresh out of the womb.
Human instinct. Excuse me. Nobody let me get my points out. Y'all just gonna start arguing with me? You better
because we know what you're doing.
You better jot your stuff down. So yes, you can.
I'm good.
You know what, Travenzo? I apologize for interrupting.
And so with that said, human instinct will kick in. That baby will figure out where to eat. Oh, it's gonna be hungry. It's gonna figure out the food around it, something around it. It'll eat something. Suck on leather, suck on the floor. It'll eat something and figure out something to eat. Human instinct. So you don't look all confused. And so all this, I think someone brought up support dogs. Well, you have support humans. There are humans who are with other humans simply to support them. Oprah Winfrey, Gayle King. I'm moving on. So then you have this whole financial responsibility. Well, let me tell you something.
Dogs are expensive.
That's right. You goddamn right. Dogs are extremely expensive. You put them in school to train them. You put them in school to, other stuff. I don't know what you put a dog in school for.
Doggy daycare.
There you go. Doggy daycare.
But is your dog gluten-free?
Some dogs are gluten-free.
And that would be expensive.
Exactly. That would be
be
expensive.
And an actual good diet for a dog is expensive. It's
Hey,
not
man,
that dry shit.
Hey, agreeing with me does not give you the opportunity to interrupt my stuff.
We're helping you.
What I'm getting at is there is a financial responsibility that is very expensive. Dogs need insurance, right? You got to get insurance on dog now. Now you got to watch the dog in your house all day. You got to get a doggy cam. All these things. It's like, it may not be the same expenses as with a baby, right? Or with a child or a human because you got to pay for them to go to school and stuff. But then you don't. You don't have to pay for that child to do shit. You can be like, I don't care. Figure it out, little motherfucker, right? This is a choice. It is a choice to be a responsible parent or be a responsible dog mom. They are moms. And so then the last thing, you said this. I was waiting for you to say this so
yes,
that
sir.
I could attack you as Trevenzo. You said that you said something about training for treats. I'm not going to train a human. Yeah, you do. The treat is life. You train your human being to be a good person so that they have a good life. The treat is life. Boom. I wish I could drop the mic.
I think he's a dog dad.
He's a new dog
I have
dad.
a lot of appreciation for all of that. I do.
I love that
I like when you disagree for fun.
I love when you were trying so hard to disagree.
I'm not. I believe this as a dog father
You don't
of
have a
7.
dog.
So, and I have 7. That's right. I'm glad you have 7 human beings in your house. And I adopted one of my dogs, too. One of my dogs, I saw the other 7 come out, and then I adopted one. And I spilled some water. But either way.
Did you contribute a squirt for...
Oh, look at the hesitation.
Rude.
Trevenzo is actually speechless.
Rudeness. But what I am saying is that these dog moms are moms, and it's for the same reasons. They care about these animals. They care for them. And in the future, being a dog mom is just going to be the equivalent of being a regular mom anyway. So get with the program, Dana, and stop being a hater.
So let me ask you a question. When that dog is an adult, will they come visit you for Christmas?
They'll already be there. It's just like if you had a child that lived with you for the rest of your life.
What if you're going somewhere to visit?
Then you take the dog somewhere else, as if you had an autistic child or you had a child who was MR.
So families don't like autistic kids, so you're not invite over for Christmas?
What do you mean? What are you talking about?
Maybe your dog isn't welcome at the house you're going to for Christmas.
The dog isn't. Well, some humans aren't. Some of your children may not be welcomed at someone's house.
So this is very true.
Yeah.
But for different reasons, right? Maybe because the dog's just hairy and poops.
And then your child could be just a nuisance. It sounds like the nuisance is the same. This is a nuisance being hairy and pooping, and your child is a nuisance because they just suck.
Is your dog going to pay for that housing you said is required later in life?
I'm gonna
Oh
give.
no, but your kids may not either. Shit.
I have
There's
one.
no guarantee they will either.
I have one final question. Can I claim that dog on my taxes?
I believe that in the future you will. You can't today, but I believe in the future.
Until then, I still don't agree.
Okay, that's understandable. That's because the government has not honored dog moms. Soon they will. Hashtag dog moms are real.
Don't worry.
That
Just
should not be a
just,
government program.
just make it an emotional debate, and everybody will believe you because they don't listen to logic. They listen to
Hashtag dog moms
the
are
Sarah,
real moms.
play Sarah McLachlan and try to argue your case. I will remember you.
All right, then.
Love my dog. Will you remember me? He's my child.
Okay, I hope they don't make a government program out of this. Although we have talked about on this podcast before that banks are starting to invest in wine and cat food because they know what women are doing. Women are staying unmarried, and they know what those women are going to be doing. Right. And I'm going to take a hot...
And
go ahead.
and a cat mom is not a mom. If she's got 27 cats, she's got 27 people to take. individuals.
I
to
didn't
take
want to
care
say
of, not
animal
people.
mom. I just did dog mom. All right.
That's
we
funny.
have.
Hold on.
Look at.
Read Patrick Hornick's.
Yeah, I know.
Patrick Hornick, shout out.
That's what I got. Well, hang on. First, we'll say Joe Casey, dogs aren't children or family. Ridiculous comparison. Thank you, Joe. And Dexter, LMAO, I love Trevenzo. So
He
nice
is
little
cute.
shout out
He
for
is
you there.
cute.
All right, Patrick Hornick wants to know, rabbit hole question. Should dog moms or dog parents be allowed to claim them on their taxes like a child?
Yeah, he just said that. I believe that yes, as a dog mom, you should be able to claim your children on your your dog children on your taxes. Yes. There are tons of mothers who are terrible parents. They are still claiming their kids on their taxes. They should not be able to. If you're not a good mother of a human being, you're a terrible human being. You are raising a piece of shit human being because you're a piece of shit, whether that means you know how to raise this child or you don't care about raising this child, whether it's benign neglect or malignant. It doesn't matter. You should not be able to claim your children on your taxes because you're not really being a parent, but you still can.
Well, hold
If you,
on,
get
though.
to, if you get to claim them on your taxes, though, isn't that just going to motivate more women to want more animals? And then how are you possibly going to control the pet population?
You can't. You don't control them. We're waiting for the dog takeover.
So are you
Trevenzo,
against spade and neutering?
Am I against spading and neutering the dogs?
yeah.
No. Yes, that's
Oh,
a choice for the
that's
parents.
choice. Okay.
It's a choice for the parents.
Okay. All right. So the
If-
dogs can be transformers,
They
like
sure
Decepticons.
can. They sure
That's okay.
Actually, if Travis looks it up, there are dogs who are transformers. So you need to get your mind right, Dana.
That probably is a thing.
Yeah.
Well, hold on
Anyway.
a second,
It's
though.
true.
I have a serious question for you here. If you are a dog mom, we'll
Okay.
just say in this world, you're correct. We're all wrong. Okay? Do
That
you
is the world that we
do
live
you
in.
condone a dog riding with that woman in her vehicle driving?
Do I condone a woman?
Driving
Like,
with
can
the
a
dog in
woman
the vehicle?
drive
Well,
with
first
a
of all, the problem that we have off the top is a woman is driving. Do we have the young man out in front saying "lady driver"? Is he out front?
This is what we need to establish. So if you're gonna bring this to fruition here, I mean, and dogs are as important as a child, then we need to talk about the woman driving with the dog in the car.
Well, why?
Not in a car seat.
Yeah.
Right, you
Do
put
they
the
have
dog in a car seat.
You would put a dog in the car seat?
Actually,
Okay.
I don't know. I'm gonna say something that's very controversial, given that who I am and the content that I make. I'm gonna say something very controversial. I think that if you put a dog in the car with a dog mom or a woman, she may drive better. I think that we should allow that.
Okay. And so just support that because that would contribute to the overall safety of everyone on the road.
Sure would. So
I
let's do
just
it.
want to know how you're going to prove that on your taxes. Because when you have to claim your children, you got to put a social security number. So what are we going to give to a dog?
We're gonna start giving social security numbers or dog license dog SS numbers.
How old does a dog have to be to run for president?
I'm not sure if that'll be happening.
Why not? But if they're a child,
Mm-hmm.
right? If they're a child, I think they should have that right. Should they also be 35 years old? Is it in human years or dog
And they
years?
clearly don't have to be mentally competent, so it's fine.
Sure, they could be approximately 35 years. That's fine. However that works, that's fine. Also, cats. You keep being speciesist and only talking about dogs. You should reference that cats, rabbits, fish. These are also pets too. So please stop being speciesist.
I'm so sorry. I didn't realize that.
I didn't know he was offended either. I feel very hurt now.
Yeah, it was pretty specious that you guys just keep
Bro,
saying.
I'm so sorry. I hurt your
Never
feelings.
once did you all mention horses. I mean, horses are pets too. I have a friend who has a horse.
Yeah.
So
I have two
I'm
friends.
sure she's highly offended watching this episode, and we haven't mentioned horses at all.
I got a VP. She rides horses. She's got her horses. We got Natalie.
See
She's
what
our
I'm
massage
We
therapist.
have a
She's got
friend
horses, yeah.
again.
Oh, exactly.
What is that now?
Should have been a horse, is what it should have been.
What kind of
A dog Decepticon.
That-
Dog
Oh,
Decepticon.
Decepticon.
So good.
Mother
Oh,
of
I
God.
love that.
Sit, Ubu, sit. Good
Knights
dog.
of Columbus. That's
Oh,
a
it should. We should teach it to
metallic-looking
do
dog.
tricks to like run around.
Outstanding.
Here's a ball, and see if it can catch it. Nope. Okay, we're not that sophisticated yet, I guess. All right, have you made all your points?
You all are asking me questions.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
This feels like that
hang
old
on,
feels like that old point counterpoint from Saturday Night Live back in the day with remember you guys ever see now I'm aging myself. Did you ever see that bit
I love this the SNL in the 90s.
where Jane Curtin would have an opinion And it didn't matter what her opinion was. Dan Aykroyd would look at her and say, "Jane, you ignorant slut."
Oh, yeah.
Don't you remember that?
Yeah.
Reminds you of Michael Scott a little bit. Dwight, you ignorant slut.
Yeah, I remember that. Okay, last one.
Okay.
Can you eat your animals?
Well, I mean, yeah, why not?
Okay. Because you wouldn't like eat your human baby. I mean, some weirdos do.
There are
but,
people
like,
who
there
do.
are people who do.
There
but,
are
like,
civilizations to this day of cannibals who eat their children.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, back in history lesson, back
good.
in the time of antiquity and even post-antiquity, there were some Jewish cults that even sacrificed their children to Molech.
They did that. That would be in Judges, actually. And they also ate themselves and other people during Babylon's attack.
That's right.
Babylon surrounded Jerusalem, and they starved them out, and they had to survive. And you know what? That guy's got a nice butt. Got some meat to it. Come on over here, buddy. Let's cut it open. You can sit on the right cheek, and I'll eat the left cheek. You know, that's just what they did. That's how they rolled.
That's good. See? So yes, you can if that's your choice.
Okay, well, I'm so glad we had this nice, like, full discussion of all points that I definitely did not expect to have to touch on at all tonight. But like I said, so I mean, I made the statement, and I'm the one who agrees with it. And when I was, what made me think about it and jot it down, and the thoughts that I had behind it originally were like, all right, who are the people who think that dog moms are moms? And I was like, well, those are probably the same people who think animal cruelty is just like awful, but abortion's totally fine because obviously animals are precious and humans are not. So like there's some kind of, I don't know, I just feel like sometimes those are like the same kinds of people. And I think about animals and pets and how they relate to humans. And yeah, I mean, I have loved the dogs that are in my life, but when I think about like pets and animals and dogs, I'm like, okay, but that's like a reward for a kid. It's not the same as having a kid. Like you guys were saying before, raising kids, that's actual work, an actual sacrifice. Having an animal isn't exactly an inconvenience, or not very much of one. You might have to have somebody watch them if you go out of town, but like you actually have to pack up stuff and take your kid out of town or arrange for, much bigger things. Mm-hmm. Lorenzo, if you took a 3-year-old dog and went and put it, or most 3-year-old animals, I won't say all, but if you went and put a 3-year-old cat, a 3-year-old dog out in a field, they would figure out how to survive. If you do that to a 3-year-old child, that child will die. So like these are not the same.
But
these are not the same.
Sounds like the dog is the better one in this scenario.
Well, hold on. Before he answers this whole thing, so Patrick
Yeah.
Hornick is online, and he's siding with Lorenzo. I knew your dog. Rest in peace, chap. Great dog. But let me tell you something.
Oh, yeah.
Patrick has a wolf pack mentality. Remember that when he goes, wolf pack, how? So this is very biased for him to say that he agrees with Lorenzo or Trevenzo, because he came on here and he specifically said, he goes, where's my
Yeah,
wolf
I
pack
remember
at?
that.
And they all go, oh. So this is BS. You have a very biased person who loves dogs way too much that even he calls his kids, a wolf pack.
You're being biased. Everything has been all about one, dogs, so you've been very speciest. And then secondly, everything has been all about from the perspective of children only being the ones who can be children, human children. You refuse to acknowledge that dog moms are moms because you are biased against them.
Let me ask you a question. Coming from one of our chats. Okay. If a dog Troy humps a female's leg, can he or the owner be charged with sexual assault?
I believe, yes, they probably should be charged with sexual assault if that person chooses to do that. I'm not sure how that court case is going to go, but that is a choice.
It's a dog that humped.
Well, it's the person who's been victimized, right? Right? The victim is a human, right?
Yeah, we'll say Dana's leg got humped.
Okay, so if Dana feels like she's been violated, sure, go ahead and press charges against that dog. That's your choice.
So does the dog get a felony? No more guns for him?
I don't know. That's up to the courts to decide what laws will be stipulated for dogs, the same way that there are different laws for children. If a children hump Dana's leg and she pressed charges against that child's not going to jail for sexual assault.
That dog knows no other way. That's his instinct.
You're right.
Where a human knows that's wrong.
Maybe a 3-year-old doesn't know. They don't know.
Nowadays,
they are
you're
3.
Unfortunately, probably right.
Right. They are 3 or 4. I mean, if a 4-year-old is watching Sexy Red right now, you know who Sexy Red is, right?
No.
You don't want to.
She's a rapper. She's a rapper. So if a dog is watching Sexy Red right now, if you guys don't know Sexy Red, go watch Sexy Red. I believe one of her songs, the first verse, the lyrics are, pull your dick out and bust a nut on my pussy. I believe that is how the song starts. Or maybe it doesn't start, maybe to the effect that is what is being said. However, if a child is listening to that kind of music, a child may want to hump Dana's leg. I don't know. And then should that child go to jail as well?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So you want to lock children up. That's terrible.
Juvenile delinquent.
How are they a juvenile delinquent if they don't know any better?
Because they're juveniles. Otherwise, they would be an adult and have to go to adult prison.
Well, if they don't know any better, how are we
They'll
making...
They'll learn after the mistake through juvenile.
Well, okay, I suppose.
You know what's interesting? I was just thinking, because I was going to, this only helps you, honestly, but I was thinking about, like, okay, well, you know, humans and then versus animals. Okay, are animals, do they get personhood or are they property? Right? And then I was going to be like, all right, well, if we watch Ted, for all of you who have ever watched Ted, he was granted personhood. So I don't know, should we be granting animals personhood? Should they get all the same rights as people?
Well, at one point in time, we did have some people who were not acknowledged as persons. And then once we freed
Only
them,
3/5
because
of a person?
well, they weren't. That's not the truth.
That's not the truth either. Oh, okay.
So do I need to? Okay, that's
Okay,
Black
just
history
that's
for
a
me.
Black history.
I got something
Okay.
to tell you now.
Okay.
'Cause you made it a folly.
All
So when it comes to the African Americans, were once seen as what is the term that they use in the South? Glorified pets. Because
Really?
many of the white slave owners didn't view them as human beings. They saw them as things that they needed to take care of, so that, and some of them didn't work. Like if you were epileptic, you couldn't work on the plantation, so they took care of you. That was if your mother had you and they loved her or they liked her, then they cared for you. Right? So that's the same way with any other situation. And what you're talking about is that those people apparently didn't need to be free because we didn't view them as children either. And some whites said, well, this is my child. He's a Negro. This is my child. And they looked at him as a glorified pet. So he shouldn't have been free either. And he shouldn't have been, and if he humped someone's leg at 3, he should have went to jail.
You know, I just have to go back to a very true story. It's about Underworld, which is obviously very true. The movie, the third one, the prequel, you know.
What is Underworld? What are we talking about?
It's about werewolves and vampires, and he was part human, part werewolf, and he was a dog and a human at once, and he was still treated like a dog, even though he's human. So I think if we go back to that movie as the standard, he's half human, and he's still treated like a dog, less than a human. So I think the answer always lies in Underworld. It's that if you are part werewolf, you're not human, you're a dog. And therefore, you're less of a human.
Okay. All right.
All right, then, switching gears.
I'm trying to find a way to extend this cheesy statement
cheesy
as long as I
nonsense.
possibly can.
Well, I'm going to bring us back to some normalcy. Some normalcy here.
You were making a point.
I'm going to rein us back in here.
Yeah, you were making a point.
What point was I making? I don't know. I was probably just telling you my thoughts around it. No, they're not moms. They're not moms, Lorenzo. That's not how this works. Pets and kids are different. That's a reward for a kid.
A kid is a child.
As in a child,
a little goat.
a human.
It's a baby goat.
All right. My bad.
Yeah,
My bad.
The dictionary says that. Pull out your big black dick. It says it right in black and white. Webster's dick says it. You pull it out. Pull Webster's dick out. Look at it. Take a look at it.
I like to leave it in.
Pull it out. Take a look at it sometime. It says kid is a
you are correct. I'm talking about a human. I'm talking about a human.
You're being biased.
Hey, teaching humans though, teaching your small humans about morality and just how to act and everything, like that's a whole lot harder though than like teaching a dog new tricks and all those kinds of things. I'm just saying.
Do you not teach a dog to be moral?
You do, but
society?
but this is not the same level of effort that needs to be put in, not the same level of sacrifice that needs to be put in. You don't look at your little puppy, as cute as it is, and think how they're going to change the world. Don't you tell me that anybody does that. They do not. Nope.
I don't know. There are some people. There are some animals who have changed the world. The people who made Lassie, I don't know what they thought when they brought Lassie home and they said, "Oh my God, this dog is gonna change the world." I don't know that.
No, if anything, they would have thought, "How can I make money off this dog?" Maybe
to change the world.
No, we're getting all right. We're getting a little crazy here. Let's bring it back to two things that you guys were talking about so I can make you talk a little bit more. So, Barry, you mentioned, because I was going to bring this up anyway, you mentioned being at the airport and seeing like the little carriers of the little dogs, your animals, whatever it is, and the whole like emotional support animal thing. I wanted us to talk about that tonight. And like, what do we think about this whole emotional support animal thing? Are those people actually mentally stable? What's going on? Should you need an emotional support animal? What's up?
If you legitimately need that animal, and there are instances where people need these animals, I totally agree with that. PTSD, whatever, that's their crutch. I understand that. But this woman sitting over here who's in her mid-30s and doesn't date me because I don't have one of the 3 M's, which is money, she feels and comes to her doctor with this bullshit story about how she can't survive or get through her day without this animal. It just seems like society is so soft now.
Yeah.
Let's just come up with some bullshit story, and some doctor is going to give you a letter that says, yes, this is your emotional support gerbil or cat or whatever the hell it is. There's a difference between medical need and I'm spoiled, look at me, this is what I fucking need. Mm-hmm. There's a huge difference in that. Because I have friends that have animals that were in combat, and that helps him deal with things day to day. Mm-hmm. And I get that. But people that just think that we've opened up the rules for society, that fuck it, there's no more rules anymore. It doesn't seem to be, it seems to be, this is stupid and screwed up this day, and then next week, okay, we're going to let that slide in. Mm-hmm. We've got to get back to standing, it's just like we talked about earlier with families. We got to stand our ground. We got to have a backbone in this country, and we don't have one anymore.
Right.
Let me ask you a question.
Okay, sir.
How do you determine that the woman who's 30 years old does not need the support dog?
Wait, and I think we should maybe draw a line between, I think there's a difference between like an emotional support animal that we're talking about and what are the
like a dog,
like a seeing eye dog. Like there's an official name for those
or
kind of
like a
animals.
dog that can send seizures
Service
coming.
animal.
Service animal,
Thank you.
yeah.
Service animal.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a difference between
I thought
those.
we were lumping service animals with support dogs.
I would say that they're
No.
they're different. Like a
They're
service
totally
animal
different.
is
Yep.
definitely
Got you.
A
definitely
service
needed.
animal
We're
is
talking about
complete-
the
Okay.
gerbil, the peacock.
I'm talking about the person,
Yeah.
man, woman, he, she, me, whatever they identify as now.
Okay.
That they think they need this to cope with life.
Gotcha.
They have their little carrier, and they want people to look at them and say, oh, that poor person.
Got it.
Bullshit.
So
Cry
how
me a
do-
river.
So how do you determine that woman, the hypothetical 30-year-old,
Okay.
how do you determine that she is not, that she doesn't need that
she doesn't
dog?
qualify.
She doesn't qualify for that dog.
You know, everybody can bullshit everybody nowadays. That's what it kind of comes down to.
You're not wrong.
You can come in and you can play the game, and you can walk out of the doctor's office and say, ha, fuck you, I got you now. I got you right where I want you.
But how do you know that that's her? How do you know that she's not a person, maybe she hasn't been to combat, but let's say that she's seen she came to her home and saw a gruesome murder. She came into her home and everybody was dead.
I understand that.
Right.
And that's what counseling is for.
Okay.
I get that. Those people need counseling. I'm not saying anything bad about that. Mm-hmm. There's good things. There's good reasons for counseling in this world. But, you know, it's kind of a double-edged sword, kind of what I see what you're saying. Mm-hmm. I agree, but I disagree. Mm-hmm. Because it just seems like there's more and more people that are making up bullshit in society to get attention.
Like maybe some people ruined it for everybody.
Exactly.
Well, so if society is going in this vein, right? Are these people making it up, or do they really believe that this is happening to them? And so if they really believe it, how do they know that they're being duped, right? If they don't even believe that the brainwashing is real, right? I don't believe that I'm being a prime example. There are lots of women who believe that sexual assault is happening to them every day. They walk down the street, a guy says, damn girl, you look good. That's sexual assault. A man says to her, I like your blouse. That was sexual assault. A man didn't speak to her who she wanted to speak to him. How dare he sexually assault me by not acknowledging my presence? I don't know, whatever the case may be. That woman could easily say, I am suffering daily. I am suffering daily, because she believes that she is. She really does believe this is happening. Now, you and I may see her and say, shut up. That's not, that guy was praising you, praising how you look. How is that a problem? That person said they liked your blouse. How is that an issue, right? So we see it differently. But how do we get to determine that that person is bullshitting and making it up?
We don't get to. It's exactly that's the hard part, and we don't get to determine that. You know why? Because we're changing the rules to make everybody fucking happy, and that's wrong. There needs to be boundaries besides family. There needs to be boundaries in life. There needs to be boundaries with everything you do. Let's change the rule to make this person happy. That's wrong.
Right, like freedom doesn't mean that you really just get to do whatever you want. Like there is some boundary even when it comes to freedom.
Completely agree.
You know, I think we need to also remember dogs, service or not dog or non-service dogs, they bring comfort and joy. We have 2 of them. We had 1 previous. So a dog does have value. I just will never call my dog my son or my daughter. You know, I just can't do it, and my wife won't either. And they love her the most, unfortunately. But
yeah, and I think like that woman that you guys talking about, like she should absolutely get a cat or a dog or, you know, something to cuddle with, you know, and greet her at the door when she comes home, and that's great. But I just feel like we're taking it past a step of like mental health when we start to think that we can't function without that animal. Just like how we should be able to function without like other people in our lives. We need to be able to function without an animal because we're people.
I was going to say that there are tons of people who can't function without other people. Aren't those just support humans?
But think about this though. I'm not a smoker anymore, and I used to be a smoker. We can't smoke in restaurants anymore. Some people are allergic to pet dander. But yet this woman can bring her dog into this restaurant with her because this is her emotional support animal.
But yet your kid can't bring anything with peanuts into a school.
Yep.
So where does it end then, basically?
Like I said, we just keep changing the rules to make everybody happy because they don't want to hear anybody bitch. That's what's going on in this country right now. Everybody's pissed off. Let's make everybody happy. Let's kiss everybody's ass. Screw what they think. That's what's going on.
It's easier to just comply because then you get people like McDonald's, who one hot coffee person from like 25 years ago won a lawsuit because he didn't know the coffee was hot and it burnt him, even though it's coffee. Unless you're blind and stupid, never pay attention in life, you know, whatever, like just never been outside of the world and outside your bubble. Like, how do you not know coffee's hot? So if you win that argument, you win that lawsuit, what? It's hard. Think about it. Like, if you can win that one and get millions out of it, I mean, it's just easier to comply because we made it very easy to just change the rules versus being healthy, having healthy boundaries.
Yeah, but I mean, perfect example. Back in the day, I worked in Milwaukee as an EMT down in Milwaukee. There was a court case that got taken into Milwaukee County Court. Guy, he was fucking dead. He was dead. They Heimlicked and they brought him back. They did CPR. This guy's alive today because of EMTs. This guy's lawyer turned around and brought the court because they broke 3 of his ribs. The judge, in a polite way, said, "What the fuck is this case doing in front of me?" He dismissed it. But that's where we're going. We're changing the rules.
I know, Ian. Like, I've even seen, thieves, people, breaking into houses, and then the owner of the house stops them, castle law, and get arrested because they damaged that person. They injured that person that broke into their home that would cause easily harm. How do you know what someone's going to do when they break into your house?
Yeah.
Pew pew. Sorry, happening. Done. Don't come into my house uninvited, or you'll see me smiling at you as I pull the trigger right before you. You'll see God right after, I promise. But my point is, where does that end?
Yeah. Seems to be a theme tonight. Boundaries.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think that the rules have changed. I just think that legal precedents didn't exist, and now they do. I think the legal boundaries have always been there because law is very broad. It's very broad, right? And you start finding different parameters within the law, right? And that's what people have done is they found those small areas.
Little loopholes.
It's just like how when I've met people in the past who have said things like, "Oh, I don't like Donald Trump because he's made millions off of defrauding the system." And I'm like, "No, you do not benefit from the things that he knows about the system. Education is important. If you don't know these things, how is someone defrauding something?" I'll give this example and then I'll let you go. This is something that people think is a defrauding all the time. All the time. In the music industry, you hear about it all the time. People are always saying, "Oh, they don't get to own their music and they're stealing from them and they're stealing from the artist." The artist does not put up the money for the promotion. That is millions of dollars. The artist does not put up the money for the studio time. That is millions of dollars. The artist does not put up money for all of that introductory bullshit, the booking of the shows, all of that stuff. But the artist is always asking to stay at the Montage in Beverly Hills, and the label does it. The artist is always saying, "Well, for this video, I need a Maybach." And they're like, "Well, you don't own one. Well, rent me one." And the label does it. This artist is always saying, "Well, for this video, I need a huge, I need this entourage out here. I want to get this producer. I want to get this," and the label does it. And so then, when the bill comes at the end of the year and the music has already been out, the check is for like not what they thought. But what did you think? Everything you asked for cost. Somebody had to pay for it. You never paid for anything. When did you come out of your pocket? Remember when you needed to go? Remember you did that show in Grinnell, Iowa, but you needed to stay in Iowa City? In the Radisson? Well, we allowed that. And there was a show. We had to find a goddamn Uber in the middle of Cornfield, Grinnell to take you to the show because that show got booked. You think we're cheating you. How are we cheating you? You cheated yourself. So it's the thing is that people don't realize that these laws is very broad and vast with all these things, right? You play your position in here and you be loose with the information and you don't try to find out information, well, you might get fucked. Or you may get exactly what you deserve. But I think in legal systems, what has happened is that law is very broad and it's not like medicine where it's like, this is it. Like, this is definite, right? You eat too much fat, you're gonna get congestive heart failure. You don't change your diet, you're gonna die. No other way around it. Says take 5 milligrams, you choose to take 10, goodbye. The next thing for you that will be definite is the funeral home. So it's 100%. But law, man, there precedents get set, and all the time you are able to move around things. Right now, they are setting precedents. Even with the guy who was once in office, they're trying to set precedents for the future. Mm-hmm. So the future will be more frivolous cases.
Which the lawyers love.
Right, which the lawyers absolutely love.
And we've come a long way from dogs. This was actually still good talk all at the same time.
No, it's good. I was just going to kind of come back because you were talking about how like everything's just getting too loose and stuff. And I talk about this all the time where I'm like, okay, fine, legal precedents, and you can talk about that. But how did we even get there? And like it's people making up problems because we have it so good. And when your brain is bored and it doesn't have enough to do, it will look for problems. That's just human nature, and that's just how we are. So this idea behind needing like an emotional support animal, or being mad that your driveway wasn't plowed the wrong way, or that a tree is hanging over in the street, or that someone didn't mow their grass the right way, or that someone called you the wrong pronoun, except for you're fine, I'll give you a pass. Those are all made up problems because we have this comfort crisis going on. Everybody's so comfortable. God forbid we're ever not in 72 degrees. 3 of us, when we walked in the room, said it was too cold in here because it was 68 degrees, right? If you own, I say this all the time too, if you own one of these, you probably don't really have many real problems, if any, in life. And when life gets like that, it gets dangerous because your brain starts looking for problems and looking for things to be wrong. And so I think part of what's going on with mental health and then needing the emotional support animal is you don't have enough going on in your life because you are like start making people worry about just plain old surviving and finding food. I'm pretty sure this emotional support animal and a whole lot of other problems just kind of go out the window because you got to actually focus on your life.
By the way, to go back to your point, and I know that Ashley had wrote something out, I want to make sure that I respect she has some things she wants to say. She told me.
Yes.
She told me
Oh,
through
okay.
telekinesis as well.
Okay. Well, I was
But-
going to come back to you for something else anyway.
Just to go back to a point that you made, and I've been sitting here thinking about it.
Yeah.
2 examples of children who were in the wild and were feral and survived.
Mowgli?
Tarzan and the little boy from Jungle Book.
Mowgli. Did you have anything you wanted to add? Otherwise, I was actually going to come back to you for something.
I was just going to kind of follow up with your point of I think we just live in this victimhood mentality.
Yes. Yes. It's
Majorly.
rampant. It's
Like-
a currency.
I mean, some of the warning labels, like, that are on things these days, it's like, this should be common sense. But common sense isn't so common
Drink
anymore.
the antifreeze.
Like,
Or maybe do. Like,
Right, maybe they should.
Natural
right?
selection should take its place.
I just
Margaret
think
Sanger.
it's...
Margaret Sanger.
I just think it's very much
chippers.
a victimhood mentality. And like you said, if you don't have enough to focus on, well, when you take your eyes off of yourself and you focus it on other people, your problems don't seem so big. So it's really just, again, it's changing that focus of what it is that you're focusing on and stop living in victimhood. The poor me mentality.
I agree. This is why
Yeah.
everybody at this table is living in a victimhood mentality, saying that dog moms are not moms and that you all are like something special because you pushed a human out of your penis or your vagina. You're not special. Dogs do it every day. Rabbits do it. Horses do it. Donkeys do it. Whales do it. Dolphins do it. Giraffes do it. Elephants do it. Lions do it. You ain't special.
I think for men it comes out their butt when they have the fake baby that they insert into the man so he can experience birth. That's a thing.
Oh,
That's a thing. I'm pretty sure that's what they do.
I wasn't ready for that.
I'm pretty sure that's a thing. Yeah.
I'm exhausted with this statement. I didn't think I would ever say that. We went so far from dogs.
I know, but it was
was
so
fun.
great.
I just
We
don't
all
know.
come-
That's-
we're all-
I don't know
we're
what
all
else to
coming
say.
back to it.
We're
All
all-
comes
We're
That's
back
bringing
to
it back to
We're
full
all-
circle.
It
All
does.
come back.
It comes back to that you are biased about this, so you don't want to talk about it. Well, I'll argue with you all day about this, and you're biased because you have a bias against dog persons.
I'm more concerned about trying to think of a final thought for this.
Well, before we get to
It should
final,
be an apology to dog moms.
no, nope.
Holy shit.
Nope, because all that's going to do is enable those people. Before we get to final thoughts, I just wanted to do one more fun thing because I'm just collecting data on this and I want to see what people have to say about it. It is off topic, but then we'll get to our final thoughts. I want to know Travis Kelce, Andy Reid situation with the shoving. I want to know what people think. You know what I'm talking about? Do you
I know
know
what
you
you're
know
talking
what
about.
you know
Yep.
what I'm talking about? Have you
Yep.
seen the scene? Mm-hmm. I want to know good, bad, not what.
I think that
I'm collecting data on it for
There's-
myself.
Okay. Well, I think there's a couple things that have to be thought about that. What relationship do they have? Do they have the relationship where they can be aggressive with each other? Let's just say we don't know that. It doesn't look disrespectful to treat your coach like that. Yes, I would never treat my coach like that. However, when you're playing a very violent game, violent things are going to happen. Men are going to do things that are probably really stupid. I think really it shouldn't. It's a conversation that shouldn't really be had. It's one of those things where, let's say me and Trevenzo over there get in a fight. Guess what? I'm taking him to dinner after shaking hands. We'll just get over it. That's probably what happened with those two. They won, and no one.
and then they
They,
hugged
they
and-
probably are laughing about it right now as they're making their millions and smoking their cigars.
Yeah.
And so, to me, it's stupid.
Yeah. What do you think?
Yep, I agree. I mean, I'm also a hockey referee, so there's a time for emotions, and there's a time to get everything in check. Me as a human being, if I'm pissed off and I push my fire chief, guess what? I'm fired. I'm gone. What makes him so special that he can do whatever the hell he wants to do, and he can get away with it?
Taylor-
Different rules for different people?
Taylor
How
Swift.
come you have the different set of standards than I do? What makes you so special over me?
Because he was vaccinated and he's dating Taylor Swift.
I'm so tired of that shit. It's just
Hey,
it's-
haters are gonna hate. Hate.
Shake it off.
Shake it off. For the record, I'm with you on this one.
Ashley,
I love Taylor Swift, by the way.
do you really? Do
Congratulations.
you like your music and stuff?
I do.
Do you? Okay.
Afterglow is my favorite song.
he like dogs, moms. That's why.
You and I will ever get back
and
together.
Lover. And Lover.
Like ever.
Ashley, go ahead.
to your point, I can see the whole testosterone, masculinity. It was in the moment. But at the same time, being a professional when you know who your audience is that's typically watching, like, is that going to then make those, say, high school boys that are playing the game of football, is that going to make them think, oh, well, he does it because he's in the NFL. Like, I can go up to my coach and I can do X, Y, Z. I don't think it comes down to he's a woman beater. I don't think it has anything to do with that. And yes, again, testosterone, tempers are hot. I get that. But at the same time, you're a professional. Like, come on, get your shit together. Like, you're playing a game, you're crying boo-hoo because you didn't make a play, you didn't do whatever. That's not your coach's fault. That's your shit. That's not his. That's you. That's your team. Like, that doesn't have anything to do with your coach. Get your shit together. That's just my thought.
Numerous times we have seen players come after other players, come after coaches. We've seen this happen a lot, especially in heated games that are important, important titles are on the line. We've seen it happen all the time. There's frustrations out there, and I agree with Travis that they probably were, even after that play, once they got to the overtime, I am pretty sure that was all water under the bridge. Is this your first NFL game that you've watched of this season?
First full one.
Okay.
I pretty much watched the whole thing.
That you should probably watch more so that you could see more players get into it with their coaches. There, at one point in time, I believe there's a game where Tom Brady got into it with Bill Belichick.
Say, Tom Brady constantly.
And that was not near the end of his career. That was like in the midst of them winning. So I don't think that has anything to do. I think there's too much focus on this, and it's not important. It's what happens in the heated moment. LeBron James has done it to coaches. Nobody says that, he's a bad guy. Michael Jordan has punched people in the face on the sideline. Teammates. It does not matter. If that's what it takes to win, I think that's how it is. I think they get that frustration out. I am very sure that afterwards, nobody cared about that at all.
Right. Come on, go back to the 90s and early 2000s. Mike Tyson talked about eating people's children, and he actually ate someone's ear, and now Holyfield and him are friends. And it's just, I am sorry. I get in spats all the time. I don't sit there and dwell on it. And I get why you're bringing it up because it is a kind of a hot topic. When I went on Facebook during the Super Bowl, I didn't watch the game, but I saw his face was right up in him. I'm like, yeah, that's pretty traditional. I mean, that you see that. There's always a crazy and here's the real deal. I watch the highlights. I don't watch the games, but I watch the highlights still. I still love football, but I won't give him my 3 hours. And I think Kelce has a little bit of a jealousy problem. He wants the spotlight because of, the Swiftie up there in the box, right? But what people don't realize is there's kind of this hybrid wide receiver / tight end named Watson, number 84. I was watching him, and he was taking some of the balls away from Mr. Travis Kelce, who gets his 10 catches a game, and I noticed he didn't have that. So I guarantee you some of that selfishness was coming in, and was hoping for the ball more, and he wanted it probably because they were losing at that time. They were kind of losing for the first part of the game, if I remember correctly. And I guarantee there was some frustration going on with that. Probably yelling at the coach, give me the damn ball, jealous of the other people getting the balls he should be getting, but so petty.
But
so petty.
Like you said, they're professionals. They're supposed to be role models. Like you just said. That child looks at that person as that's acceptable behavior. You know how many kids we get on the ice? You can tell they just watched that NHL game the night before because the way they just blasted this guy at center ice with their fucking stick at their waist when there's not a puck near him. But I'm gonna open this guy up. I'm going to the box. I'm a badass motherfucker. They're still role models.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, back in the day, back in the days, right? Let's go from hockey to the Pistons, right? That was the standard.
Oh,
Being like Bill Laimbeer was the standard. You that's how you were there was a position in basketball similar because hockey and basketball are very similar.
Enforcer, yep.
Yeah, you had an enforcer on the court. That was a guy you brought in to be like if an old guy got old in the NBA. You brought him in as the enforcer. He wasn't there to do any, like literally almost every 7-foot white guy who was not starting on an NBA team was the enforcer. What's my man? He used to play for the Dave Corzine when he was no longer eligible, no longer valuable to the Bulls. He became, for the Milwaukee Bucks, the enforcer. What's my man? Jack Haley, when he came to the Bulls and they were winning 72-10, that was our enforcer.
Do you remember the Bulls? They had Will Perdue, Bill Weddington, and I can't remember the Luke
Longley.
Luke Longley.
That's
and
right.
those three, they were good for 18 fouls against Shaq.
That's right.
That's how they beat Shaq. Because
'Cause he
Shaq
couldn't
can't make a
shoot
free
free
throw,
throws.
but they had 18 fouls to give on him. And on top of that, they had Rodman. So when those two were all three were in foul trouble, they still used Rodman. They enforced.
Yeah,
And it
the
worked.
enforcer.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
So it was not an issue then. Now it's an issue now. This is mostly because because women started getting all involved in sports and they weren't focused on bacon. They were too focused on basketballs. Nobody asked you to focus on basketballs. There's some cookies and snacks that need to be made, bitch. The game just got done. What the fuck are you doing? Talking about who the referee, and nobody asked you anything about the referee. Did you bring referee-looking fucking cookies or something? Marble, maple cookies? You talking about what the game had? Oh, well, what happened in this game? My son caught this pass. You should have been fucking figuring out what we gonna eat after the motherfucker catch the pass. You sitting up here focused on the wrong thing. That's what happened. Then all those women got involved and said, my son didn't win. He deserves a trophy too. And then the people said, oh yeah, I guess we'll give him a trophy. So you're not gonna bake cookies? You're just gonna really keep coming to the games and complaining about trophies and shit? And women were like, yeah, because I don't have a husband. And it was like, oh man, this is terrible. Then it started spreading. They started noticing all these women got husbands. None of them are baking shit. They ain't cooking nothing.
They're baking biscuits for their dog children, I bet.
Yes, they do.
Do you guys?
Then you know what? Then I guess it's all worth it.
So the microphones actually caught what they were talking about, and Travis Kelce was screaming at Coach Reid because he saw Coach Reid's wife drive herself to the Super Bowl.
Oh, so this was a legitimate reason to yell at her, at him.
It totally was.
Done.
No, I just want to know what people thought about that because I saw that interaction and I had zero issues with it at all. And I agreed with you with what you said. I don't think that people should be making a big deal about it at all. I think that was pretty normal, like, man behavior. I don't know. Did he need to, like, run into whatever? It's the heat of the moment, and this is, like, kind of the mother of all trophies, and it's a very intense game to begin with, and then you're playing the mother of all game for the mother of all trophies, and none of us have made it to the NFL, so I'm pretty sure none of us know the intensity that actually takes. Those players actually know that, and they've worked hard to be able to get there, regardless of what you think of the NFL or any kind of programming that goes along with it, or of Travis Kelce and what endorsements he has and who he's, like, any of it. Like, that's just what happens in those games, and honestly, like, I see that kind of intensity, and I'm like, that guy wants to win. Like, I want that guy on my team. I don't want anybody on my team who's not as intense as him.
I have to look. So go back 40 years, and I can't remember which game it was, but there was a coach in college football who actually went onto the field after a big play in the game and started swinging at the players, the opposing team. So I'm going, man, we've regressed in along like that. That was fun back then. Like, oh yeah, let's go. You watch the guys fight, whatever, blah, blah, blah. It's great. I love it. Almost like hockey. Every once in a while, it's like, seeing a unicorn or a 4-leaf clover, right? There's a fight in the NFL and they let it run for a minute. That was awesome. Now, a same team, coaches just having an aggressive conversation with their players or vice versa. If that's the new standard of too hard.
Too many women are watching this game.
Well,
if I was Taylor, I'd be like, hell yeah, that's my guy.
Well, that's only because it was the Super Bowl too, right?
Right.
It was totally magnified, so everything that happened needed to be talked about. So
Plus it was him.
and it was him, and because I guarantee you, if it was somebody else,
No,
like
or other
the
team.
kicker, right?
According to Facebook, the proper script wasn't followed.
Oh.
That bullshit too.
Yeah.
It's all scripted.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I mean,
That can be a statement for another podcast day.
Exactly.
Why don't we do our final thoughts? If there's anything you want to leave our audience with, or anything you didn't get to say, whatever you want, you can say that now. Ashley, you want to go first? I've started with you every time, so.
Final thoughts. I've really just taken it all in tonight versus really been vocal this time. Really, I think it ultimately comes down to the center topic that we discussed is the boundaries, setting them with your family, and not living in the victim mentality of the poor me. Just move on.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Barry, go ahead.
I enjoyed this. I've never done this before, but this was fun to have a point, counterpoint, have a little fun, be a little serious, and it all comes down to, like I talked about, like she just said, the whole night focused on boundaries. I mean, don't do things to other people that you don't want done to yourself. It's that simple. And if you can't bitch about society, if you're not willing to step up and help make a difference, it's that simple.
Nice. Travis, go ahead.
Honor your family, but have boundaries. You can honor them and have healthy boundaries. You can do both at the same time. It is possible. So if you are struggling, and honestly, this is something that is near and dear to my heart just because of our circumstances. It was incredibly hard to throw her dad out and to close the door on her family. That was hard. That was not easy. But at the end of the day, if I want to thrive and I want to be the king of my castle and lead my queen and my kids in the right direction, I had to do it. So if you want your family to be healthy, enforce a healthy boundary. And if you don't know what that looks like, go find someone who can help you. All right? But don't allow yourself to be a doormat to your family. You have to put that boundary. I understand why this statement was brought up today. It makes sense. I get it because there is some corruption out there. There's some bad people. Find the healthy boundaries for your family and pass it on to your kids. In regards to animals, look, if there's a mom out there or somebody who can't have kids, and this is the exception, you want to call your dog, your kid, fine. It doesn't affect me. But at the end of the day, the practical part of it is they're not the same. So it was more of a fun statement tonight, that one. But because it is just a thing. Just put it in the proper context, put it in the proper boundaries, and if you do that, you should be okay in both these departments.
Trevenzo.
Thank you for having me on.
Now she
Did
got
I get it?
Oh my
She
God,
got
you
it.
wait till the end of the show to get it right?
Took me that long.
Now I'm not even going to be Trevenzo the
I
next
know.
time I come.
I know. I'll probably mess it up next time.
Terrible. Yeah, then you'll call me like Lydia or something.
Again?
So the boundaries, I think with the family, I mean, that's necessary. The unfortunate thing is that I think that because of how we have, and we're all victims of this, right? We've all done this. Because of how we all want to please others and because of how we all have been socially conditioned that it is not about number one, it's about everyone else. And you have to, and that's the only way that you can look out for number one is looking out for all these other people. I mean, even to the point where in the 90s, when I was a kid, they wanted you to look out for those in the Middle East that you don't even know. Not your troops, other people in the Middle East. They want you to look out for save the whales. Save the whales from what? I don't even know what the fuck their purpose is. I'm 9. What are you talking about? But you got to do all of these things, and it's all about not number one. No one is preaching, look out for yourself. Look out for yourself. If we promoted that more, then more people would be able to promote boundaries in their families and boundaries in their lives. Even have stronger relationships with their spouses or the kids would have stronger relationships with their children because they would already respect boundaries and have boundaries set with their spouses and their significant others. But so many people are so entrenched and fixated on, I need to focus on, as you said, what everybody else thinks about what I'm doing. And social media, as we talked about in the past, has now put this spotlight on everybody's life, which they've done willingly, right? Because I agree with you. Fuck that shit. I am not on social media. I will not be posting until it is time to do some more music or we are posting shows. But I don't have anything to do with social media. I don't like it. I don't want to be a part of it. I don't want to do it. The young lady who works here, I don't want no damn TikTok. I don't want it. So, but I know I need it. And it saddens me. It makes me depressed. But I agree with you. All that stuff has put a spotlight on people's lives. So now I know more about what Dana is doing in her personal life. I know that you got something going on in Weston or something. I saw a picture of something you got going on in Weston. Yep. I should know nothing about your life. Seriously, I should know nothing about you. If I look up Travis and then I see that him and Sarah then went somewhere, it's like, why? I don't want to know where y'all went. Why do I know? Man, if I'm a killer, I got your ass.
Not mine.
That's true.
Got you. If I'm Jason, look, today, Freddie and Jason, just go on Facebook. I got
Hey,
these motherfuckers.
hey,
Well,
hey,
I
hollow
have keys
points.
in my car, so
Hollow
I
points.
should run you over. It's fine.
But either way, these are all of this has now made people, number one doesn't exist. It's only number three, not even number two. Like, I don't even care about the person who I should be caring the most about. My kids, my spouse, my parents. I care more about all these other people and what they think. How do I look to this person? How do I look to that person? I had to tell a young lady I was dating, it's only you and I dating. I don't really know what everybody else think, and I don't care what they think. Fuck them. If they come into this relationship, can you tell them motherfuckers start paying some rent? If they gonna be in this shit, can they start bringing some goddamn groceries, nosy motherfuckers? Y'all are all in our relationship, talking about some, well, why he doing this? Oh, bitch, I didn't know I was dating 2 women. Get your ass over here and cook. We hungry. Shit, we like extra people. Come on in. You want to be in? Come on in. If you set those boundaries, I guarantee you motherfuckers will stop asking all types of questions about what you got going on and what you got going on because they'll be too busy saying I don't like the boundaries they set for me and I don't want to be with them. And if your boundaries are, oh, well, since you got interested in my relationship, why don't you come on by tomorrow? We love Popeye's chicken. Make sure you grab a couple 24. You eating too? Oh, get a 24-pack. Get you something to eat too. We like to eat. We gonna have something for tomorrow too. Save it for the next day. And that is exactly what should happen is those boundaries. As far as with the dog moms, right? And the can't have kids that you just said, because you guys keep giving me points to come back to. Do what you just said.
That was the one I didn't get to.
In the future, many people will not be having children. With the way that the transformer community is and what they're doing to their bodies and what we are trying to tell young people to do to themselves, and you can self-mutilate yourself and you can be whoever you want, you're not going to have many people with children. They will be dog moms. And all of you all's uno, dos, tres, cuatro, four. That's right. I said it in Spanish because of the future. Si sabemos what's going to happen is in the future, all of you will be wrong, and this will come up, and I hope that I don't get canceled. So make sure that you guys, when you watch this, go watch RRP show, and make sure you go watch the random things you need to know, because I stand with dog moms.
Oh my gosh!
Cancel these 4.
I just realized you're right. The Jetsons. I love you, George.
Family Guy.
That's right.
You don't.
They've been trying to tell you.
He's
They've
British.
been trying to.
Scooby-Doo.
They're just trying to condition us.
Scooby-Doo.
Because everything
Run,
just
rabbit.
comes down to.
They've been trying to
conditioning.
tell you. They've been trying to tell you. You need to get on board, or the train will hit you.
No, I'm not going to get on board with anything like that.
Then be prepared to be smashed underneath the train of equity and equality.
And it'll be driven by a dog.
I'll be driven by a woman,
not a
probably.
woman.
What about a female dog?
That bitch can't drive. I missed that one.
I was hoping you wouldn't. Yep,
Can't set me up like that.
Oh man.
Like Larry the Cable Guy. And Lord, we apologize for that.
You know, after hanging out with Trevenzo, my wolf pack just became 2.
Blood brothers. Yeah. Well, I always love doing this and hosting this and having people come around the table and talk about all of the things that they're thinking, because I love just hearing all the different perspectives. And I'm always grateful that we have guests who come in from the community who are willing to talk and say what they think and actually show up on time. I just appreciate that very, very much. And I appreciate you two being here all the time, because you always spice things up and make it very, very interesting. But
Thank you.
I will argue with you a little bit. You're not cancelable. The only way that you can really be canceled is if you decide to not show up and keep saying the things that you're saying. That's the only way that you can really cancel. They can't cancel you. You really only cancel yourself. So you just keep showing up. You just keep saying all your things. You're not going to get canceled.
Well, you're going to be canceled as soon as 2046 comes, and this is on the new YouTube version 6.0.
Yeah.
And dog moms all across the world hear what you say, Dana, because you've been very biased today. Usually, I'm always throwing out, how much I like you, and you're double D and all that. You're my homie and all. But today, I don't know who you are. You're lowercase D. I don't like it today.
All right. Well, I'm going to go rev up that wood chipper and
And
we'll
Travis,
see what we can get going
I
with
dressed
it.
like you today, and this is the kind of specious behavior you've been exhibiting today. Non-equitable, brother. Non-equitable.
Rut row.
Not
Rut
equitable.
row.
Well, thank you all for being here tonight. And again, just coming around and having a conversation, because ultimately our goal is to affect and change culture and have fun conversations and have serious conversations and argue and not argue and agree and disagree, whether it's for fun or whether it's for real. We just want to bring people around a table and be able to do that. Oh, come on. Just come on. I'm trying to outro us now. And you just keep feeding me more. I got to stop looking at you. But thanks to everybody who has been online watching with us, especially to all of you who have been commenting. We've been watching that. Definitely comment throughout the show, because we do make an effort to read those and are willing to give you shout outs and all those kinds of things. Again, if you want to be on the I Disagree podcast, or if you have content that you want us to talk about on the I Disagree podcast, please email idp@thewellnessway.com. I'm the one in charge of looking at that email, so I will definitely make sure we take those things into consideration. And if you don't hear back from me, then you should find a different, more direct way to reach out to me, because sometimes I neglect that mailbox, I admit, a little bit. But thank you all for watching us live tonight. Please make sure you are commenting and liking and subscribing to the show. We don't run ads on the show, and so please share it with everyone you know. Have a good night, everybody.